summer sun on quiet tracks. Oh, it feels like that, like the summer rain that falls so slowly on the naked skin upon your back. Oh, it feels like that, like a love song on a worn out track. Yeah, it feels like that. Feels like that. Yeah, it feels like that. Na 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 na. Feels like that.
When the sage brings the rite of spring, moaning dove and the sparrows sing, through the light that the sun will bring, reborn. Plots are creeping on the wall, swallowtail heeds the northern call, and the last of the frost will thaw, reborn. In the warmth of the spring, I recall everything once more. Heavy air and the smell of rain, muddy grasses across the plain, red-winged blackbirds soft refrain, reborn. In the warmth of the spring, I recall everything once more. As the winter comes to pass, every one of us is home at last. Every leaf, every blade of grass, reborn. In the warmth of the spring, I recall everything once more. In the light of the sun, everything and everyone reborn.
어디서부터 참을 수 있을까? 벌어진 틈새를 채울 순 있을까? I don't know what to do. We've already spent too much time. 우린 이미 너무 먼 길을 너에게로부터 가장 먼 곳, 내 마음이 또다시 철없이 널 향하지 않게 far away. keep coming back, 'cause you're taking me higher. Higher than I've ever been before. Then you let me down again, close the door. I know I should leave, 'cause you're driving me mad. You burn like a fire. Now you're calling again, sugarcoat everything, but it doesn't make it sweeter. We wake up in my bed, I forget what you did, but it doesn't make things easier. You're with my head again. I believe in every word you say, baby. Now you're calling again, sugarcoat everything, but the truth still tastes as bitter. I know I'm a fool, here we go again. I think I might lose it. I try playing it cool, but you have your ways, you know what you do. I'm higher than I've ever been before. Then you let me down again, close the door. Yeah, I'm such a fool, here we go again. I think I might lose it. Now you're calling again, sugarcoat everything, but it doesn't make it sweeter. We wake up in my bed, I forget what you did, but it doesn't make things easier. You're with my head again. I believe in every word you say, baby. Now you're calling again, sugarcoat everything, but the truth still tastes as bitter. But the truth still tastes as bitter. But the truth still tastes as bitter. Now you're calling again, sugarcoat everything, but it doesn't make it sweeter. We wake up in my bed, I forget what you did, but it doesn't make things easier. You're with my head again. I believe in every word you say, baby. Now you're calling again, sugarcoat everything, but the truth still tastes as bitter.
When the sage brings the rite of spring, moaning dove and the sparrows sing. Through the light that the sun will bring, reborn. Clocks are creeping on the wall. Swallowtail heeds the northern call, and the last of the frost will thaw, reborn. In the warmth of the spring, I recall everything once more. Heavy air and the smell of rain, muddy grasses across the plain, red-winged blackbird soft refrain, reborn. In the warmth of the spring, I recall everything once more. once more. In light of the sun, everything and everyone reborn.
What is up, everyone? We are here for the official start of the play-ins. We've had some matches happen earlier in the week, but we are fully into it now with this What's Up Doc AR High Noon match. And joining me today on this lovely cast is Toasty Toast. How are you doing today, Toast?
I'm doing very good. I'm excited to see how the play-in bracket will finally start because I guess like after the regular season, there's just been like a good amount of like predictions for like who do you think's gonna win, like who do you think's gonna make it to the actual playoff bracket. So I think it's like finally nice to sort of see if the predictions are correct, just kind of see how the teams fare out here.
Yeah, exactly. There's been a lot of really cool pred brackets for play-ins and even picks for the playoffs coming in. But before we can get to any of that, let's look at this B League side here for the plans of playoffs. Right now, we've got AR High Noon and What's Up Doc on the other side of that plans. Bluff Creek beat out Ignite Memories in that 3-2. That was a fantastic set, streamed over on the Moon channel. You should go and watch that. That was an amazing Map 5 banger, and they will be playing Borealis later. But right now, AR High Noon and What's Up Doc, they have to fight each other out to see who gets the honor of playing Blind Music Society to make a potential playoffs.
Yeah, so I'm pretty if whichever team loses this play-ins round one, they're just completely out of the tournament. And then even if you win this one, there still is going to be a very hard matchup against Blind Music Society. But I think whichever team wins this one, I think it'd be nice for them to actually sort of have a win under their belt here. Maybe like a little bit more time playing together compared to Blind Music Society. Maybe they can I guess have that momentum going into the next game if they like. If maybe like they can get a run just based off of that. So yeah, I think I guess like this game is just it's very important in general.
This is a super big momentum-based game. Momentum is a huge part of play-ins and playoffs. Even if you're like slightly an underdog, dark horse, weaker team, getting that win under your belt from like a close game or maybe a surprise upset can really turn the tides for a future game, maybe shake an opponent up. But right now, neither team needs to look towards the future because currently they have to play each other. So let's take a look at these rosters between AR High Noon and What's Up Doc. Let's see who we got up first. It is AR High Noon. This team of Narcosis, Mem, Mata, Mitzi, Charlie Brown, Meow, and Ducks. We do not have Mata here today, and I know that one of the players of AR High Noon, one of the DPS, will be arriving a little late. However, this is still a roster you have to take at full value. The power of this team, they've been able to play so many very fast-paced ball comps due to the character pool of these players. And I imagine What's Up Doc, they've been practicing and playing against all the potential things that could come out here.
Mm-hmm. And then on the other side for What's Up Doc, I think they've been struggling a little bit more in the regular season comparatively to AR High Noon, but I think there's still a lot of good players on this roster that you can't really ignore. I think Luau has always been a very strong flex DPS player, same with Chamor, and also a very strong tracer player. And I think Cobalt's also been a very strong support player this season. So I think overall, like you can't look at the record of What's Up Doc and just assume that AR High Noon are going to have a better shot, because I think just like looking at these rosters, I think it's going to be a pretty fair matchup, all things considered.
Yeah, I definitely got to agree with you there. Both these teams, they've had some like pretty decent performances across the board. I mean, even looking at some of their matches, there were a handful of potential map 3s between them. And so I'm mainly curious because we are in play-ins now. There's no set maps. There is a set map order, but in these longer maps where you're able to pick where you go to mode, your bans are going to matter a lot. And so these teams here, if they've spent the time looking at it, the bans, they're going to matter a good bit. What's Up, Doc? I will want to point out, they did start to look a little stronger as the season went on. You know, they beat Red Bandas, Then they played Bluff Creek in a 2-0, which was surprising to most teams. And then they almost ended up beating Birdwatch. I think that was the big game that maybe started to surprise and bring people up into this what's up Doc potential here. So Air High Noon, you got to respect the Doc for this game. So get those bans on point.
Yeah, I think also I think there's definitely been certain characters for the side of What's Up Doc. I think some of the players are definitely specialized in specific characters. I'm pretty sure Cobalt he does really like to play the Juno, and then also I'm assuming obviously both Luau and Chamorn, they really do like playing their Tracer or their Genji. So being able to maybe being able to force them off those characters or trying to play a comp that can sort of make it harder for them to play their comfort picks. I think that's what AR High Noon should be trying to do. But then also, you said that AR High Noon do like to play ball comps, so maybe if maybe What's Up Doc can just they can just straight out ban the ball, or just sort of ban characters. I guess that could work well with the ball to maybe make the comp a little bit weaker. So I do think the bans are going to be a pretty good factor in deciding who can win here.
Yeah, exactly. So AR High Noon, they were the higher seed. So they did pick Nepal. That is going to be our first map of the series. If this does come back to a map 5, Nepal is now locked out for that map 5. It cannot be chosen again. What's Up Doc do get the ban order pick. So for those that don't know how it works, the higher seed gets map choice for map 1. And then the lower seed gets to either ban first or second. There's been a little rumbling about that potentially getting changed to being the choice of either a map pick or a first ban. But for right now, we will see what these teams go into as What's Up Doc. They're thinking about what they're trying to do for this control point map. It is Nepal. So, Ball, not the greatest here. Also, Mata isn't here for his team, so I imagine we will probably be seeing a little bit more rushed-based compositions.
Yeah, and even if Ball, I guess, if they're not going to be playing the ball and they are going to be running a brawl, I feel like if What's Up Doc I think What's Up Doc might just be trying to ban I guess maybe more like ban like it's ranked. You just want to ban a character that you find annoying. Like if you don't want to play against like a Pharaoh, or if you don't want to play against like I don't know, like a Sombra or a Venture, or just like any of those like sort of characters that can sort of catch you off guard. I think that could also just be a ban that What's Up Doc try to go for if they're not really so sure of what like specific comp AR High Noon are going to try to run.
Yeah, that's always a good shout out. Bans are important, but if you really don't know what to go, just throw like a quality ban. On most teams, if you've done a little homework, you can probably figure if they play a Freya, maybe they have just a super strong Tracer player. A lot of teams have been gravitating towards that Orisa and Ram. Those are always good bans. And honestly, on next to every single map, a Curie ban doesn't really do much harm.
That is true. I definitely do think getting rid of a Kiriko can very much change the pace of a game, because I think just the fact that she can TP around the map, and then also the Suzu and Rush is just a lot of I think her entire kit's very good at changing the tempo of the game, so I think getting rid of her can definitely impact.
Yeah, 100%. I am curious to see. So as the games have progressed, we've seen both these teams kind of evolve a bit. We've been seeing AR High Noon, they've gone for a bit of faster paced compositions, which is exactly why What's Up Doc is getting rid of a Winston here. AR High Noon, they've gone faster and faster, picking up with a Lucio Kiri, a Ball, a Monkey, Tracer, Genji, all these really quick characters. Well, What's Up Doc, they've kind of slowed down the pace. They've picked up more Orisa, they've played a bit more Ram. Weaver and Bap have picked up a lot for this team as well, so maybe AR High Noon, they realize their dive is being kind of slowed down. So maybe they try to reverse it, get rid of a Bap, maybe get rid of a Cass, something to kind of help even the playing field with this Winston ban.
Yeah, and I think again, like, banning the Winston is also, I think it's also very smart too, because in case AR High Noon maybe wanted to ban a tank themselves, like if What's Up Doc really do want to maybe run an Orisa or a Ram, just being able to ban a tank first to sort of make sure that sort of protect that ban from AR High Noon, so AR High Noon can't ban one of their tanks, so What's Up Doc are just kind of free to play whatever tank they want. And we are going to be seeing the ban from AR High Noon. They will be banning the Lucio. What do you think about that?
Well, Test, I think that's actually a pretty solid ban here. If your Monkey is already banned, I mean, you were potentially maybe looking at some of the maps saying, okay, well, on a Brig isn't really good here. Maybe we could pull it off in Sanctum. So let's just get rid of the Lu. Maybe we can try to force it into more of a dive tank backline here. Remove that force if you want that speed control to make it Juno. And so I imagine AR Hainan, they're trying to force this into potential maybe like Ramatra Mirror. Get a little bit of that brawl action going on. I imagine no team at this point is adverse to playing a little brawl.
That is true. Definitely, I would, in my opinion, I definitely I think it's pretty fun to play Brawl, and in like the Brawl mirror, I think it's pretty fun because you're not really thinking too hard. I guess you're just kind of you're just fighting them. So I always love Brawl.
I love a good Brawl mirror myself as well. I think just something about two like Ramatra comps just going in and just running each other down. It's just fun. It's just good classic Overwatch. And so we will see as the bans have been done and the map has been selected. We will most likely be getting in once the teams are both prepared here. We get a little stat, however. We can see that throughout all the maps, this does make sense why Nepal was the map of choice. This is the map that, even though they've only played it once, they do have the overall upper record, 100% win rate. And what's up, Doc? They've played it twice, and they just can't seem to find their footing on this map. So maybe they looked into this and they saw, or maybe just a little bit of good luck in the fact that this is the one that they chose.
Yeah, and I think it's also I would assume just based off of this map stats, Nepal does seem to be the best because on Lijiang, What's Up Doc do look a little bit better, and even on Ilios they look pretty even. So I think Nepal would be your best bet. I think mostly because What's Up Doc have not looked as strong on that map comparatively to the other control maps. Just losing twice is, I guess, would definitely make AR Hainan want to be picking that map first.
Oh, absolutely. The more research you can do on your opponent, especially in play-ins when it matters so much, at least in the playoffs, you have like a small cushion. It is a double elimination bracket. The play-ins do not have that luxury. It is a one and done deal. You win your set, you lose your set, you're in, you're out. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah. And there was a pause because I'm pretty sure the bans did not go through.
Yeah, it can happen. There's a lot of important things that goes on in the streams and getting all these games set up. So, always make sure to thank your host for these lobbies. There's a lot of people that are busy during this summertime, and I know it's a big community of love at BPL. These streams are very important to a lot of people. So make sure, thank the people that do these lobbies. Thank the people in the prod that take the time out of their days to set these events, do these streams and all this stuff. Because, I think a lot of people enjoy this BPL thing. What about you, Toast?
Yeah, every time there's like a BPL stream and I'm like at work and like I'm not doing anything at work, sometimes I'll just like always watch, see what's going on, see which teams are winning, even if it's like not really a team, even if it's like maybe in B League or C League. Like, I don't know. I always think it's fun to be watching stream games, just because watching Overwatch is pretty fun in general. So I mean, yeah, definitely a huge shout out to all the people that can make it happen.
Exactly. Watching Overwatch, I think Overwatch is like the best definition of an extremely fun game to watch, even if you don't know a ton, just because it's so bright and there's so much going on. There's just like a ton of stimuli. But speaking of watching Overwatch here, we are going to be finally getting into this first round of AR Hainan What's Up Doc out here on Nepal. Flip through the maps, but we are on Village to start it off, and we do see the Weaver, but maybe not from the team we were expecting. What's Up Doc? They're the team that usually pulls out a bit of the Weaver, but AR Hainan, I guess with the bans, maybe they've practiced a bit more of this character.
And I'm also assuming with that Lucio ban, I feel like What's Up Doc they want to kind of sort of play that standard support lineup of a Juno Brig. Definitely, I would say though, if you're going to be running a Juno, you definitely want to be running the Brig with that. It's like a very popular support lineup. So I'm assuming with that Lucio being banned, so they can't play that Lucio Kiriko, they're just going to be opting to play the Juno Brig instead.
Yeah, getting that Juno Brig out there. It's a bit of a slightly older backline. We can see it's faded out with the more recent developments of Luke Curie coming back, as well as Baptiste and Weaver making their way into the field. And but this What's Up Doc team, this was a backline that they played a ton before Bap and Weaver themselves, and it looks like they're pulling it back out. It's still a great backline to play with these Orisa comps.
Yeah, and I think especially with the speed ring from a Juno, you can just you can put your Orisa in a really deep position if you wanted to, and then also the Brig is very good at keeping the Juno alive as well if the Juno is ever getting pressured, and obviously Rally also a very strong ultimate to either peel or brawl with.
Yeah, especially into this AR High Noon comp, you can see here, they're a bit of a mixture. This isn't what I would call like a traditional dive composition, but I wouldn't really call it that much of a poke comp either. It's a bit of the both, making use of both of Hazard's benefits, but the main challenge they're going to face with this comp is actually crossing over to the point. But it seems that Dux has figured that out and is just TP'd underneath while What's Up Doc, they're too busy looking at the team in main.
Yeah, but Chamorn will be able to pick off Dux though, so I think AR High Noon are just gonna have to back up. So What's Up Doc, they're just gonna be able to flip the point right back into their favor. But as I say that, they're gonna be the Nano Boost will be committed there, and actually Coolant's gonna fall. So AR High Noon could be pushing back in if they wanted to, but the ultimate's now coming forward from What's Up Doc. The Juno ult and the Orisa gonna be committed there, but nothing really found that. The Tree of Life doing a pretty good job of keeping the team alive, but pretty back and forth fight for now. Yeah, but that Hazard ult, very, very powerful in eliminating the squishies, especially if they get caught in that. So it looks like at the end of the day, I think that AR High Noon will be able to flip the point in their favor. Yeah, looks like they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, and that all stemmed off the back of Dux getting that initial flip. You know, that small bit of 11% not only is going to benefit the team for the rest, because that 11%, that could be What's Up Docs. They could be at 80%. This could be like a guaranteed last fight territory. They're getting close to a good amount of their ultimates here. But it also just dragged the enemy team away from that positioning. It allowed them to push in. They got a ton of value out of their support ults, and they managed to turn the fight. So that was just a really good point pressure there from the side of AR High Noon.
Yeah, but What's Up Doctor, they are going to be coming in here with the ultimate advantage, but that's a great anti-grenade from Charlie Brown, and the immediate follow-up there from AR High Noon to take down Chamorin, and now a ton of pressure being put onto this Brig here. Will eventually fall, just a couple more melees. Yeah, we'll be taking down the Brig, but What's Up Doc will actually be able to flip the point in their favor. So looks like they're actually going to be able to get up to around 80%, even if everyone from What's Up Doc do fall. I think being able to flip the point there does make it now last fight territory for them.
Absolutely. Just every tiny bit of an objective you can steal away is so impactful that I mean, this is why this is Overwatch is at its core an objective-based game. I mean, again, that small 11%, What's Up, Doc? They would basically be at 99 at this point. AR High Noon, they're coming up on a lot of ultimates. What's Up, Doc, as well. This looks like to be a pretty ult-heavy fight coming out. I imagine both teams are going to be swinging out with these Noons, though. And Coolant just immediately gets wiped. This Noon looks so good.
Ooh. Yeah, Chamorin finding too, though, but Duck's being able to trade it out, so it does seem to be an even fight, but Duck's still gonna be able to get the kill off, but Luau gonna fall on point. It is still a 2v1 though in favor of What's Up Doc. The Hazard gonna be coming through, but only catches the Orisa, so not a lot of damage you can really be doing to that, and it looks like no one on AR High Noon can really touch there, so What's Up Doc will be able to take the first round.
Yeah, that was really just, it was a very scrappy point is how I'd like to call it. Like the first fight, both teams were on the high. That was probably the most organized fight we had there. Besides that, there was a lot of like one character going to the point, forcing the objective. There's a lot of back and forth with the tracers in each other's back lines. And then the Casses, when that got swapped over to for the teams, it was just super scattery, chaotic. And when you have such a bulky character like an Orisa, and then a backline in the Brig Juno, that chaos starts to go over to the favor of those bulkier characters.
Yeah, definitely. And also I think just being able to sustain through those sort of long fights can definitely, at the end of the day, it will be the Orisa that will be able to just shoot more and be able to do more damage and get those kills. So I think that definitely did help What's Up Doctor. So it looks like both teams are going to be running out on on the same comp as last round, except Dux will be on the Genji now instead of the Cassidy. So maybe opting to looking to pressure out Cobalt maybe a little bit more on that Juno compared to just sort of sitting back.
Yeah, you can see here What's Up, Doc. Last round they did a little bit, but now they're doing it a lot more. They're just playing together, making it harder for AR High Noon to swing in on them. You can see AR High Noon, they had a great nade onto the back. They're pressuring out the Orisa, but these characters, they're just so bulky. There's no way this Hazard can, like, actually rip through this Orisa comp without just falling because of the cast, and then the Brig, and then, like, the Tracer and the Juno. There's just no one to really go on in this comp that it doesn't have bulk or movement. It's just so hard for Hazard here.
And I think Orisa also just in general does such a good job of sort of denying tank space. Sort of, I think Dustel is doing a very good job of denying the hazard, the sort of dive opportunities that you would want to be going for. Because obviously, when you're on that hazard, you want to optimally be looking to get a slash off or just like a dive onto the backline. But definitely way harder to do that if you have an Orisa that can spear or just spin you away, just sort of displace you away from being able to do that. So I think Dustel doing a pretty good job so far on this Orisa.
Oh yeah, fantastic here. What's up, Doc? They've gotten a good amount of percentage on the point. They've built up a good amount in their ult bank. Their lunchboxes are looking full. Air Hainun probably, they're just going to poke a tiny bit more, get their support ults, but they're deciding to go out, and CLCO 1 HP doesn't pick up that KO, but it does force some util out from the Orisa. And honestly, if you're Air Hainun, you can go aggressive. You do have your support ults. What's up, Doc? They've started to use a lot of their resources here. And so there goes the nano on a Nidus, and he's now onto the front, but the Orisa just pushing him out once again.
And also, you see the Fortify being committed there from Dustel takes almost no damage, even though there was a nanoed hazard, and now the Juno going to be committed from What's Up Doc. They want to be winning this fight very quickly here, but just a ton of ultimates coming out here on both sides. Dragon Blade, Tree of Life, Hazard will rally on the other side as well, but it looks like that Blade from Dux will be getting its value at the end of the day, as Air Hainun will be able to flip the point, but that was just a very ultimate heavy fight there from both sides.
Oh yeah, you can check. I think we saw all 5 ults come out from Air Hainun. I know it's a little surprising with how high we see the Freya ult, but that is basically just Pulse Bomb. And what's up, Doc? They only have the Noon to retaliate. That was 9 ults in that fight. And at the end of it all, the tank was still standing decently healthy once all 9 ults came out. So gives you a little bit of insight into how bulky this Orisa character can really be with this backline.
Yeah, and we're seeing What's Up Doc sort of coming from this top left position, but the anti-grenade will be slowing down their push a little bit here, but Dustel still opting to push up. Very healthy health pool. And actually, Chamorin taking a bit of an off angle here with that high noon, as you see Dustel just sort of stuck on that high ground, just shooting the hazard, but Chamorin taking a lot of pressure. The hazard now jumping onto that Cassidy, but the Freya Bolt from Steel CEO able to find 2 kills, and that will be a wrap-up here. Steel CEO going insane on this Freya.
Oh yeah. Just, you can really tell how impactful a character like Freya is in these comps, especially if you're playing into a much bulkier comp. As the hazard, you're really relying on your Freya to shoot a few bolts into this Orisa, maybe lodge a bit of that armor away, get a bit of those resources out, maybe a Fortify, maybe a spin, so you can actually start to push him. So, what's up, Doc? They need to find a way to pressure out this Freya angle, because if they keep letting it just go to the side like this, it's going to be really hard for them to push up. And Cobalt, it just gets sniped by the side for a stray bullet or two. And now, I don't know if this What's Up Doc roster can go in, and what an amazing sleep there, dear. I don't think it'll result in a kill, but that doesn't really matter, because Air Hainun, they've already cleaned up the fight, and listen, every Tracer has hoop dreams, okay? You know, you can't take that away from them.
It's like, yeah, you know what? I don't hit a pulse bombs either, so I completely understand. Luau just sort of stuck in their spawn, I guess, but looks like he will be surviving for now, so not going to really be like a staggered fight here. But the ultimate pick from Air Hainun is way better than What's Up Doc. But Chamorin going to be able to start off the fight, taking down Steel CEO. The Blade coming out from Dux, going on to Chamorin, able to take down the Freya, and the Nano was committed as well, so he can just get the slash dash kill onto Coolant as well. Looking to take down Cobalt here. Cobalt's so incredibly low, and Dux popping off on this Genji, and yeah, that ultimate bank from Air Hainun paying dividends here, as that Tree of Life is able to help all of Air Hainun just sort of survive on the point here. So What's Up Doc just trying to stall it out here, but it looks like Air Hainun will be able to tie up Nepal 1-1.
Yeah, just really good adaptation play into Air Hainun. I think a big thing that we saw there was, once their comp had a bit of that defensive area to play around, get the on up onto the high ground, the Weaver's able to use his pedals to be annoying, play a bit further back, and easily be able to reset that Ana. It was pretty hard to dislodge. I mean, this What's Up Doc roster, it's not exactly extremely mobile. I mean, you've got the Orisa kind of sitting point, and I guess, like, what, your most mobile character you had there, because the Freya swap was pretty late into the round, it was just the Tracer. And it's so hard for the Tracer to just solo dislodge an Ana that a Weaver can help, that you kind of just have to ignore the Ana and maybe sightline her, which just doesn't ever feel good.
Yeah, I think also if you're gonna be running that Orisa, just obviously Orisa is very good at a lot of things, but she definitely does not have a lot of vertical mobility, so definitely harder to pressure out an Ana that's sitting on the high ground, and also just a Life Weaver available to just pull her away from the Orisa. at any time if the Life Weaver ever opts to do that. So, it looks like What's Up Doc will be opting to run the same comp here, same with AR High Noon. They found a lot of success with that, but it was still a pretty close round, so I can see why What's Up Doc are still going to be sticking with this Orisa. Looks like Dustil just going in very aggro there onto the Ana. We'll be able to get that kill, but Cobalt going to be traded, but Dustil getting a lot of value on that Orisa. It's a fairly even fight for now, but AR High Noon will be able to take point first though, since they do still have their tank alive.
I actually really like what What's Up Doc did there. Into this style of team comp, this backline, while it may be a little sustainable, it might have a little bulk to it, it's not exactly that threatening when you run it down. Weaver doesn't have that annoying pressure in the same way that a character that a Brig or a Lucio has. And so just bulldozing it down is just good. Cobalt just needs to find a way to live those engages, is the big thing. If your Juno lives those engages while your team hard bullies in, it's going to be really tough for AR High Noon to get anything done.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's just because obviously I think the Hazard, if the Hazard can slash a Juno in midair, that is one of the best ways to kill a Juno, because obviously her hitbox is very small and she has very good movement. Pulse Bomb coming out from Lua, actually going to be taking down Charlie Brown, so looks like AR High Noon just gonna have to back up already. And What's Up Doc playing fairly good here. They will be able to get 30% now.
Yeah, the benefit that What's Up Doc has is their composition is a bit better at engaging into a fight, being on the attacker's side. This AR High Noon comp really wants to have that defensive space, especially for this backline to play off of. And so they're going to struggle a tiny bit more getting into the fight. We do see ults coming out of both teams here, looking pretty high. I imagine we're going to see a pretty aggressive engage here from AR High Noon, maybe off the back of this tree. But What's Up Doc, as long as they can just keep Nidus out, it's going to be tough. And you can see it's exactly what's happening. Dustil's just pushing him into the corner, but it doesn't matter. Chamoran goes down, Rally comes out, maybe a tiny bit too late here, as our Brig is just so deep into there. I mean, the rest of the team was just a bit far back. It feels like a bit of a communication issue as What's Up Doc, they invest into this fight equal to AR High Noon, but it's going completely out of their ballpark.
Yeah, it kind of looked like that Chamoran was sort of maybe looking to punish the push from AR High Noon by using that High Noon, but the dive from Dux and Naitis, I think was just way too. I think the damage was maybe just way too sudden. I think Coolin tried to pop the rally to keep the Cassidy alive, but at the end of the day, the dive was just way too good, and then that sort of left Coolant alone. So that definitely a very good fight win there for AR High Noon. But What's Up Doc, they do have a good amount of ultimates here to push back in if they wanted to. That Juno ult from Cobalt will be committed. Nano Boost though, however, going to be committed on to Naitis, but Luau going to be able to get the first pick onto Charlie Brown, and Luau just able to clean up a lot of that damage from Dustil. And yeah, looks like What's Up Doc will be able to clean up the rest of AR High Noon, will be able to flip the point now in their favor, and it's final fight territory now.
Yeah, it's final fight territory, and neither team is really that close to an ult. The closest one is going to be that teardown from Nidus, but it's a pretty mitigatable ult for this team. I mean, the Tracer can just blink away, the Orisa can just fortify or look up, but on this side angle here, Meow gets caught out. This feels like a bit of a miscommunication. Maybe they thought they had to go for the touch, but they do have the Genji, and now like all of this HP is down, but they get rid of Chamoran. It's a great pick, AR High Noon. Their HP bars are so low, but it looks like it's actually turning the way of AR High Noon. They managed to get some really good pickoffs here. Both of the backline gets knocked. And oh my god, just Tuss Tail!
Whoa!
I don't know how AR High Noon won that besides just like a miscommunication of like the support splitting.
Yeah, I guess even though we were spectating Dux, it did sort of seem like there seemed to be a little bit of a fight going on near the Mega Room while the Genji was capping. And yeah, it does look like at the end of the day, maybe What's Up Doc, maybe they were just a little bit split and not really able to keep each other alive. But Hazard ult going to be committed here from Naitis. Not going to really find anyone though, so. But it looks like he still will be opting to push in, but Dustil again doing a great job of applying a lot of pressure onto that Hazard. Now Luau pressuring out Meow. Meow will fall, but the blade coming out here from Dux. He needs to find maybe more than just one kill, but CLCO going to be able to get a second. But Dustil with the kill onto that Genji. Very even fight for now. Rico going to be forced air from CLCO, but Dustil has that Orisa ult available. This could be massive, but Cobalt gonna die, so no supports available here. Looking to get the boop off with the spear, but obviously Hazard gonna be able to wall climb, so not gonna be able to get that. But Charlie Brown comes off the map. Maybe Charlie Brown thought that he could make it. But it looks like AR High Noon, they do make the swap onto that Soldier and that Tracer, and that seems to be paying off very well here as Duck's able to find 3 on the Soldier, and AR High Noon will be able to flip the points back in their favor, and will be taking the map in a very close 2-1.
That was just a very good back and forth from both teams. What it ended up coming down to was that What's Up Doc's roster, they're bulkier, they're able to sustain on their position more, but AR High Noon have the advantage of that mobility, especially with the Kiriko swap. They were able to just kind of avoid a lot of that damage for a really long time, and I'm not 100%, but I think what happened there was we saw that the Orisa was on point. We heard it go off, it was on the point. We saw Charlie Brown deal with the Tracer and then go for a jump, but the Orisa was still on the point, so he like backed out halfway, but was over the ledge and just fell off the map. Because, I mean, you either jump into the Orisa or you just fight the Tracer that you're 1 HP against, so I feel like you're just dead no matter what there.
Yeah, probably, but you know what? It's all good for AR High Noon because they will be able to. They did win the fight eventually. I think the swaps there from Ducks and CLCO, just swapping to the Tracer and the Soldier to just get back as soon as possible to help their team. I think because it was already a very chaotic fight, so I feel like What's Up Doc were maybe not really prepared to sort of deal with all that damage that a Soldier can do if he's sort of uncontested. It definitely did seem like Ducks. It's going to be a little bit hard to sort of refocus and I guess focus down a Soldier when he's sitting so far away when it's already such a chaotic fight and you're just trying your hardest to maybe kill whoever's on point. So overall, very close map still from What's Up Doc though. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think What's Up Doc, I would believe in most people's minds, is probably the underdog going into this game. Their success has been a little later into the season, which is why this team definitely still has a good amount of fans that are kind of rooting for them to go on to that round 2 of play-ins. But this was very close. This definitely could have gone either way. I think a little bit of... I mean, we saw in that fight where it got turned, it just felt like the team wasn't fully on the same page. The supports were on completely different areas into the fight, and that left the Orisa more or less on their own. And the Juno is good, but we saw a big reason why Juno's fallen off a lot in the meta. Hazard just kind of bullies the character. We saw Cobalt die a good amount, and even if it wasn't a death, it was such pressure output that a Juno can't stay in that sightline, which is why we've just seen more BAP, more Kiri, more characters that are more easily able to sustain their ground.
Yeah, and I think especially too, like again, like as you said, even if you don't really get the kill onto the Juno, even just the fear of maybe you just take a little bit of poke and then the Hazard can just slash you and then you die, and then obviously your team loses a big chunk of their healing when their other support is a Brig. And obviously Brig very good at keeping a Juno alive, but if the coordination from AR High Noon is good enough, it can just sort of I feel like the Brig packs don't really matter sometimes, considering Hazard just does so much burst damage, and if there's just like a Tracer or even just like getting poked out from long range by a hit scan, I think yeah, definitely very hard to play Juno there.
It is a bit rough. However, we are going into map 2. That was a very, very good set, very close set for that map 1. Nepal being taken out from AR High Noon. We are going on to, however, the next set of maps, which is going to be Eichenwald on this hybrid point here. I was curious to see what this team would go for because the losing team does get to pick the map, and now the winning team, they get to get that first ban. We're looking now at these Eichenwald stats, and this makes sense. I mean, Eichenwald, this is their most recent impressive win from this team. This is the game that they sealed the game against on Bluff Creek Big Mode. I think a roster that people have pretty high hopes for in this play-ins.
Yeah, no, and then also if you look at the rest of the map stats from What's Up Dog, obviously Eichenwald does seem to be their best bet because on the other hybrid maps it looks like they really haven't been that successful on the rest of them. So obviously you want to be going for the map that you've already won before, and also AR High Noon have not. The only time they've played Eichenwald, I guess they did lose that as well. So obviously, if you're What's Up Doc, this is like your strongest shot at taking a map here.
Oh, definitely, for sure. I am curious to see what changes will come out, but from What's Up Doc, this does make sense. We are going to get the Hazard ban out here. This does mean that AR High Noon did choose to ban second. I'm curious why they ended up with this decision, because as I pointed out earlier, the winning team does get first ban. Unless that has just recently been changed, the winning team does get first ban. So I guess Air High Noon, they're fairly comfortable on all the stuff here. So maybe they just didn't really care as much to get their ban off. Maybe they were more interested in what the enemy team was looking to ban. It's an interesting decision. Toast, in your mind, what would have to happen to constitute choosing to ban second?
I feel like if you are choosing to ban second, the reason why you're doing that is you're trying to predict what comp that the enemy team is going to play based off of who they're banning first, right? So obviously with this hazard ban, Air High Noon can just kind of assume like, okay, we can assume that obviously Cobalt is going to try to play the Juno, or maybe like if they're going to be banning the hazard, we can assume that they maybe we can just sort of assume that they're trying to avoid that. So maybe they can just like play a different character, maybe they can just like play a different character with, that has like the same style of hazard, where they can just sort of, because obviously they can still play the Winston if they wanted to as well. So obviously, I would assume that maybe it's just to sort of get a read on what comp that the enemy wants to play, and then maybe you try to ban around that. But that would be like, I guess, the only justification for getting rid of your first ban. Because obviously, I feel like getting the first ban is very strong, because you can also protect your own role if you wanted to. So I mean, we'll see how it works out though in this map.
Oh yeah, it's a very interesting thing. I'm a little curious as the Curie ban versus the Juno ban. We saw in that last map, What's Up Dog only ran Juno. I'm pretty sure the entire time they just ran the Juno. In the Kiriko, I mean, Air High Noon, they played more of the Kiriko than What's Up Dog did. So the hazard's out. I wonder if maybe you're trying to force this into a certain style of play with this Kiriko ban. We can see AR High Noon has been mainly targeting the support roster of this team, trying to force slightly different things into them. But Eichenwald, such a diverse map. I would say just about every single character in the game is good on this map, from the poke characters to the dive characters to even the rush characters. This entire map is just so good for all styles of play for teams.
Yeah, and I'm assuming maybe the Curie ban from AR High Noon is most likely because if they're going to be running the this Winston comp with the Ana, so obviously no Suzu from the side of What's Up Doc to sort of to deny anti-grenades or even just the Nano Winston engage, because I feel like that can be a very strong way to just pick off the backline of What's Up Doc. So I'm assuming that is what the Curie ban is for. And also, even if What's Up Doc opted to play the Kiriko, I think maybe Air High Noon are expecting Dustel to run out on that Orisa or even just a Brawl comp. And obviously, I think Orisa or a Matra in a Kitsune Rush is very deadly, especially into a Winston. So I think that Curie ban is actually very smart here for what Air High Noon are trying to play.
Yeah, definitely here we can see coming out, Luau most likely just going for that one headshot pick and just barely gets behind that Brig shield there. Mitzi managing to save Charlie Brown's life. That was pretty close. But this is a bit more the style that I was pointing out in the pre-show about this What's Up Doc roster. They've kind of been transferring over to a more bulkier backline in this Weaver, Bap, Orisa style. It's just a really hardcore to break through for most comps. And Air High Noon, they're playing a lot more of what I thought they would. They're playing that faster composition. This is a bit of that speed versus power, unstoppable force, immovable object syndrome.
Yeah, but already the lamp being forced here from Coolant, I think that was a pretty good anti, I'm pretty sure, or just a very good dive there from Nidus to force out the immortality field. But it looks like What's Up Doc, they are taking a pretty good amount of space here. They just need to clear the anti-grenade, but it's only gonna hit Dustel, so obviously there is a good to survive that for now. But Dustel looking to push forward back in the pull, will be forced though from Cobalt, but it looks like Dustel will be back to full, and now What's Up Doc looking to push back in, and that slow pace paying off as Chamorin going to be able to take down Charlie Brown here. So it looks like What's Up Doc with an early advantage will be able to start capping the point immediately. Yeah,
this seems to be really good here. Fight closing to an end. One thing we definitely forgot to point out, we did see a substitution in this match. Meow subbed out for Mitzi into this, so we do have a slightly different backline, but it doesn't seem that it's going to change much because we will still be having this Weaver Ana backline come in after the first point. And I mean, from What's Up Doc, honestly, that was a pretty solid first point push. Eichenwald first can just sometimes feel impossible to cap without just a good push.
Yeah, and also the fact that What's Up Doc didn't really use any of their ultimates there. In fact, they were just able to build up to 5 ultimates there is really impressive, because I feel like in a lot of these icon wall pushes, you usually win when it's like a very heavy ultimate fight. So being able to win this early is very strong here. But Nidus will be mirroring the Orisa, so looks like Air High Noon are opting to slow down a little bit too. The Bola shot though from Steel CEO will be forcing out the lamp, and also the Tree of Life going to be committed there from Cobalt. Jamoran looking for a Bola shot of his own. Will be able to hit the Life Weaver. Both supports on Air High Noon so incredibly low, and Dustel eventually going to be able to take down the Life Weaver and just inting onto Charlie Brown to take down the Ana, but the Sleep Dart going to be able to keep him alive. And now a Nano Blade coming out here from Dugs, able to take down one, and Night is actually going to be able to take down Cobalt as well. So very winnable actually, as Dugs going to be able to take down a second, but actually never mind, I misspoke here. It is actually just Dugs left alone here, and looks like he will have to back up there. Mitzi going to be able to keep him alive there.
A lot of ults coming out from both sides of the field here as that fight progressed, but AR High Noon, they actually find themselves at an ult deficit. They committed 3, while What's Up Doc, they only committed 2 really. I guess 3 because, I mean, just, dude, that Freya Bola shot just charges so fast. It's just criminal. It really feels like cheating with how fast this ult comes out. And What's Up Doc, they still have such good ultimates too. They've got a window to pressure onto the high ground. We can see AR High Noon, I guess the backline, they got a little, you know, they were on the top of the lighthouse getting a cute photo together, and just Chamoran comes out and just takes them both out while they're looking through the binoculars.
Yeah, it definitely did. It did definitely seem like that maybe Charlie Brown and Mitzi were sort of looking for a nade by pedal platforming up onto that sort of elevated position, but all it did was just kind of sort of expose themselves to Chamoran, because obviously it's way easier to hit supports when they're just sort of alone on that elevated surface. No natural cover to hide behind. Charlie Brown trying to look for a touch, but we'll just immediately die. So What's Up Doc have 4 minutes left to push the third point.
And man, 4 minutes pushing through. Eichenwald, I feel, is one of those maps that can either be really easy to push through or just really tough. There's so many annoying chokes and high ground hold positions that teams can just sustain from. But What's Up Doc, they've done it really good about getting picks when they need it. And Coolant just stands on the pedal platform there. We saw Cobalt try to push that Orisa ult up, but Coolant was just too close, got pulled in by that Orisa ult, just couldn't get around the corner fast enough. And that just spells the end of the fight kind of for this What's Up Doc roster. But I mean, they still have all their ults. They still have an incredible time bank. Yes, you get the positioning and tempo reset from AR High Noon, which is what you absolutely need after such a rough second. But What's Up Doc can just literally bulldoze through the front door with these ults.
Yeah, I would assume that both Trees of Life are probably going to be coming out in this fight, but What's Up Doc, they do have the Arisol, and also they do have the back window if they just want to take a lot of space, but the Pulse Bomb from Luau onto Ducks will be eliminating that Sojourn very early, so it looks like What's Up Doc just pushing past Nidus. They don't really care about this Orisa. Actually, Tree of Life will be committed, and the Orisa ult as well, but that's still not going to be able to find too much, as the pull and Tree of Life committed by AR High Noon to keep the team up. Steel CEO's High Noon not going to find too much, but he will be able to get the pick off onto Dustil, so actually a very even fight now for AR High Noon if they want to be pushing it. Both sides have no tank available, but it looks like both teams are not really opting to push any further, as AR High Noon just going to be sitting on point, and What's Up Doc will eventually just be backing up and waiting for Dustil to come back.
Yeah, we can see Luau, even on the first map, just really did a good job of just always being annoying, always being on that side angle, always being that constant pressure threat. And on such a tight point, like these Orisas fighting them out, Tree just basically is the big, everyone stop, no more damage output allowed, this is a no damage zone now. And now the power ults come out, all these ultimates with just insane levels of lethality. The window comes out, we can see that the Bola comes out, including just gets taken out. I mean, it really feels like What's Up Doc should have had the advantage there. I'm kind of curious to see how they got so forced out and what should have been a really good angle for them to pressure.
Yeah, and also if you look at the ultimates committed there from What's Up Doc, it looks like they were committing majority of the ultimates there. As if you look at AR High Noon, I'm pretty sure they didn't actually commit a single ultimate that fight, as now next round they will be having that overclock and also the window, so I think that can be a very devastating combo as long as Ducks can just hit his shots even onto an Orisa. Window overclock is just such a powerful combo, because you basically just one shot Squishy as long as you charge it up all the way. And yeah, that's going to be the window committed from Charlie Brown, and Duck's going to be able to get the pick off onto Lau, just shooting through that window, getting a ton of damage, and yeah, What's Up Doc is going to have to back up there.
Yeah, Definitely there, Toast. As you said in that previous fight, because AR High Noon didn't have to use any of their ultimates, they were able to just very easily come out. I mean, Dusthug gets an amazing pick there for the entry for his team, but AR High Noon, that was one of the only 2 ults they had. Their tree is coming up slowly. Ducks might just have to use ult as just a pure pressure tool here, not really looking for picks, but just to deny the team space. Luau swaps over to the Mei, a lot stronger than a Tracer on this point. It's kind of hard to get your side angles set. And that Blizzard is building as the ult comes out. Both DPS ults out for this team. Really good wall pressure. With the shield also, it's just so hard to get value. And right now, what's up, Doc? They have the perfect rebuttal in this Terror Surge, being able to pull through. And just unfortunately, the tree just comes out a millisecond too late as that Weaver damaging perk, it just randomly rips HP bars.
Yeah, especially if you can, especially because, you know, I think Life Weaver actually does do a pretty good amount of damage, especially into tanks, because as projectiles do move pretty slowly, so that is why it is maybe a little bit hard to hit squishies, but on tanks it doesn't really matter, and especially if you can get that perk where you can just do a lot of extra damage, yeah, I can definitely catch some people off guard with just how powerful the damage can be, and the Blizzard just to sort of zone away the card here, and Coolant going to be able to get some very nice shots there onto Ducks, and looks like What's Up Doc will eventually be able to break through this defense and cap Eichenwald in overtime. Just a couple of members left of AR High Noon, but yeah, that will be it. What's Up Doc will be capping in overtime.
Oh yeah, and we saw like What's Up Doc had a 4-minute 11-second time bank coming into third, but Eichenwald third is probably one of the hardest hybrid third points to cap. It's so small, but it's so weirdly strong for the defensive side due to just the distance between spawns that it can feel like if you're on the offensive side and you never get a clean fight, that there's just constant reinforcements coming out from the defensive side, and it's just an impossible Herculean task without that clean 5-player wipe fight.
Yeah, and also, just considering how close the spawns are for the defenders, I definitely do think that also makes a big challenge, because if you lose even just one person on the attacking side, it could basically just turn into an even fight. Like, let's say if it's like a 4v4 recontest on the point, eventually that fifth player for the defense will be back first. So, and like obviously, you know, you can just sort of stall out, wait for that 5th player to come back if you are on the defense. So yeah, definitely a very hard point to finish capping if you are an attacker. So definitely, I still think capping in overtime though is still, in my opinion, I'd say it's still a very strong showing there from What's Up Doc. So now they just sort of need to make sure that AR High Noon, if AR High Noon are going to be capping, you want to make sure that you don't let them get it over a minute, so you can at least maybe have extra time if it goes to extra rounds. And actually, AR High Noon, they will be going this Zarya Reaper comp, so that is definitely a little bit more of a different look here.
Yeah, this doesn't really feel as AR High Noon as I remember. Maybe this is kind of like a play-ins adaptation. Honestly, this feels more like something we would see from some of the other teams. And just Charlie Brown just gets ripped here on this comp. This comp doesn't feel fully complete. Ana Lucio just doesn't mesh 100% with this composition. Normally, you want maybe like a Kiriko, even a Baptiste feels a little bit better into this here. I think it's genuinely not bad, but I would not be surprised to see some swaps in the immediate future, especially with how rough it is to get permanent damage on this What's Up Doc roster.
Yeah, and also I'm assuming the main play here is to sort of get Seal CEO set up into just able to put a lot of damage in onto Dusktale, and obviously getting a lot of energy on that Zarya can be very deadly. But it looks like What's Up Doc, they did do a pretty good job of not shooting the bubbles actually, so Nidus was not really high charge going into this fight, and the immediate pull as well. Pull and Lamp both forced those, so if AR High Noon want to be looking for a push, this would be the opportunity. Ducks almost getting the kill onto Luau, just sort of waiting for Luau. It's like we're playing, it's like it's a Valorant game, just waiting for him to peek, I guess. But Luau going to be able to blink away to safety as AR High Noon will be pushing up here. Nidus does have a pretty good amount of charge in the anti-grenade onto Dusktale. Will be making that Orisa fall really low, and eventually Nidus will be able to take down that Orisa. So the Zarya comp eventually finding its value, but Luau going to be able to take down Ducks, but the Reaper getting a pretty good amount of value here from Seal CEO, but Luau able to take down a second on this Tracer here, so not really a lost fight yet, but Seal CEO continuing to get kills here on this Reaper, despite the fact that the trade life was committed here from What's Up Doc. The Blossom coming through from Seal CEO, he wants to clean up this fight. Now Cobalt gonna eventually fall to Nidus. It is just Luau left. trying his hardest to find anything, but will eventually fall here. Still a small recontest opportunity coming out here from What's Up Doc, but eventually, I think they're just looking to drain the clock a little bit, as eventually Air High Noon will be able to get the cap here.
Yeah, just a really good play there from Air High Noon. The big downside of Zarya as a character is that she has this like wind-up period where she needs to get a little bit of momentum rolling, get a little bit of gas going into her tank. And if you can just constantly capitalize on stopping Zarya short, you know, never really get her above that like 60 energy threshold, it can be impossible to rip a character like Orisa, a character that you feel like you should have a really strong matchup into even, because Orisa can't really hard mitigate your util, but this grab coming out, and you can see they really want to go, it just grabs onto the Dusttail and Coolant there, but all this util coming out, and Cobalt actually an amazing pedal, not only like bringing the team up out of the ult and out of harm's way, but also just like making it really hard to punish anyone caught in that grab, while also just getting insane value out of that Terra Surge. A really good defensive play from What's Up Doc, and a really cheap one as well.
Yeah, only if the Arisol committed, you would almost assume that there would maybe even like the window committed there, just to maybe sort of heal his team through that. But the Arisol basically makes Dusttail invincible. You know, it requires a lot of damage to take down an ulting Orisa, so very strong counterplay there. CLCO will be TPing onto the high ground, looking to take down Chamorn, but Chamorn good to just sort of fly away from that Reaper, so the Reaper can't get his value, but Ducks just fighting on point. Will eventually have to give it up though, as oh, never mind. As I say that, so Ducks lines an insane one clip onto Luau. Will eventually get traded out by Chamorn. Chamorn gonna be popping that bullet shot as well. We'll be able to take down the Lucio as well, and it looks like Air High Noon will be forced to back up here as they have a couple of late kills maybe onto Charlie Brown. And if they can even take down the Zarya, that would be very good there. Yeah, we'll be able to take down the Zarya as well. So a couple late kills there will be slowing down the push from Air High Noon.
Yeah, that was really good there from What's Up Doc. Air High Noon, they don't really want anyone else but this Tracer with Ducks on this payload at all. I mean, if you don't have the Reaper with you, you lose most of your damage output. If you don't have the Lucio, you don't have that engage. And if you just leave the Ana on point, she's just going to get jumped by the team. And so if Ducks ever falls, What's Up Duck just can kind of ignore the point and just play for the brawl up on high. And Reaper, it's a good tank busting character, but I mean, it's Orisa. That character has 10 million HP and all of it is armor.
Oh yeah, and you see CLCO trying to look for a TP play, but does still immediately shutting it down, and also getting a second kill there onto Ducks. Looks like Air High Noon just gonna have to back up there. You don't really have your DPS, so Knight is just looking to back up with a little bit of energy, but will fall very late again. I feel like a lot of these late kills there it's taking a lot of time out of Air High Noon right now.
And What's Up Doc this entire time, besides the stray like pulse bomb or bullet shot, they haven't committed any like hard util. There's no Terra Surge. The supportals haven't come out really at all. And What's Up Doc, I mean, both these DPS ults are basically just two pulse bombs. Just one is longer range, and so you build them so fast. And this is the speed that you need to go, but they have all this defensive util. The Terra Surge is going to come out. Tree is going to come out. It's just so hard. And we can see here, though, the Nano Reaper is just going to go in and rip through them.
It only takes down one though, and Chamorn doing a pretty good job of disengaging from that Reaper, but eventually CLC will be able to get that kill. But again, the rest of Air High Noon are just kind of they're just kind of alone on this point. There are no real supports to keep up the Zarya, so Dusttail will be eventually cleaning up the rest of Air High Noon, as Duck's trying to find something, but we'll just fall immediately. So Air High Noon gonna have to back up, and this is final fight territory, and they do only have the graph to work with, and CLC are gonna be swapping over to that Genji for this final fight.
Yeah, it's really rough there. We can see just the immense value of Tree as an ult. Air High Noon was up like a lot, but it was just the fact that they had a Weaver and an Orisa on point in Tree. I mean, we even saw CLCO just shoot 2 direct hits into the back of the Weaver and then pop ult, and the Tree just like denied all of the damage outplay. It just didn't matter. That was just tickling them. It did nothing. In this grab, it needs to be the lifeline for this Air High Noon team. They need to win this fight with the grab, and then maybe build something potentially for this next fight, but nothing seems to be coming out here. Bubbles already being forced. Tracer just keeping this point safe here. And it looks like Ducks, they've gone down. There's been no real pressure coming out from this AR High Noon roster, and the graph finally comes out from Nidus. But I'd say it's past late. It's literally, it's the end of the map. I don't know how much later you could pop grab than that.
Yeah, and it also did seem like for that fight, Air High Noon, they did look maybe a little bit confused on where to really push, as you know, obviously when there is only 30 seconds left, you are kind of scrambling to get a touch onto that point. But if you were watching Nidus there, he was just they were just sort of stuck on cart and not really able to find anyone, as all of What's Up Doc are just sort of playing on that high ground, just sort of waiting. And again, that slow playstyle that What's Up Doc want to be doing, they were able to execute that perfectly, because there's no one on Air High Noon that was really able to contest them.
Yeah, it's just a really good showing of the difference in these two teams' play styles. When What's Up Doc can slow down the pace, can make really good use out of this BAP Weaver Orisa core of bulk, it is so tough to just rip through, especially for this Air High Noon roster, who, yes, you know, they at some points they tried to maybe match the Orisa. Zarya, a character that has an on paper very good matchup into the Orisa as well. It's just tough if you're not landing like a really good anti-nade, if you're not disrupting and forcing you to like a grip or a lamp out. It just kind of feels like Orisa is this insane immovable object that just refuses to take any damage output, and also will kill you if you stare her for too long in the eyes.
Yeah, and I also think that the defense for Eichenwald there definitely did favor. I think it definitely does favor What's Up Doc's comp, because we did see Air High Noon try to walk up to that high ground, but again, just Orisa has such good crowd control abilities, especially in the stairwell for Eichenwald it's not really wide, so it's a very tight corridor, so definitely does benefit the sort of brawl for an Orisa, because again, like if you just pop Fortify, then yeah, it's very hard to just for even like a Zarya to just sort of beam you, because you can just sort of face tank a ton of damage, and even if you fall low, you even have that that grip as well, just in case. So
yeah, it seems that the teams are going to take a very quick 5-minute break here, get everyone a refill on their water, maybe a quick bathroom trip. So we will take a quick 5-minute break, wait for the teams to come back, and once we do, we'll be looking to get into that map 3 of either push or flashpoint. So for right now, we'll see y'all in a few minutes.
Hey, how's it been? It's been a while since we last spoke. You broke my heart and left me hanging. Yeah, how you've been? It's been a while. I see you going to new clothes on and change. When I see your feet hurt when someone mentions your name. Hurt when I pass by your old place. Hurt when I'm driving and I'm lost again. Hurt when I'm sick and you're not here. Hurt when you seem like you're just fine without me.
Alrighty, everyone. Greetings. Welcome back to this. We had a very short break there as everyone refilled on their water and took very short trips away from their keyboards. But we've got Push Flash coming up next. In Toast, I would say this is probably like the big turning point in most 5-map series. The ability to choose either Push or Flashpoint. It can really be a big momentum swing, especially since both modes play completely different from each other.
Yeah, and also I feel like if you can sort of pick a map that you're really good at as well for either map type, I do think that having a 2-1 lead does put a lot of pressure on the enemy team, and it also helps you sort of calms your nerves a little bit because I guess it's like, hey, you even have like a map to lose, I guess, if if like,
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
they're struggling a little bit. I don't know. I feel like having a 2-1 lead is just like always. I feel like if you are A or High Noon, you want to pick the map that you're the best at because having a 2-1 lead is very, very important.
Oh, yeah. So, Air Heinen, they did pick that new Junk City map. I think this is a really good showing for that Brawl composition. But I mean, I am a little bit surprised we didn't go to a push map. I mean, we saw the difference in their comps, and I mean, listen, I'm no expert, but if you ask me, I feel like this What's Up Doc roster would love to play a map like New Junk City with this bulk backline Orisa style that they've been going for.
Yeah, and also I do feel like dive comps have also been pretty popular on majority of push maps. It's either that or the Brawl, but either way, you definitely do see teams playing a lot more faster. You don't really see a lot of these slow Orisa comps on maps like Esperanza or New Queen Street. You definitely see more of like a Ram Brawl or even just like a Monkey Dive or even just like a ball comp. Like you don't really see that sort of very slow, that sort of slow Orisa style that What's Up Doc are going for. So I mean, I guess maybe Air High Noon are just trying to pick a map that they do have a good win rate on, and if it is New Junk City, I'm pretty sure it's New Junk City, and that is a map that Air High Noon have won in the past. So obviously that is a strong map for them, and I'm assuming that is what they're trying to play for. They're just trying to pick a map that they think that they're pretty comfortable on going in here.
Yeah, exactly. It seems that we have some swaps coming out from the rosters here. What's Up Doc are swapping out Pomku for Luau, and we've got Ricochet is in for Coolant on support. We do see the bans come in as well here. It looks like the graphic is a teeny bit behind, but What's Up Doc did ban the Kiriko, and AR High Noon responded with the Orisa ban, and I'm a little surprised that we didn't see a tank protect from What's Up Doc. I feel like this is like the premier Orisa map.
Yeah, I feel like I would assume that maybe What's Up Doc are trying to play a different composition, but I'm not so sure because I'm assuming the only reason why you would want to ban Akiri is so that the enemy team can't sort of out tempo you with that Kitsune rush. So that's what I would assume, but obviously
Probably.
But like obviously, I think a ban onto a tank, even if it's just like a random tank to sort of protect that Orisa, would be very smart. Or maybe if you wanted to ban the Zarya, that would also, I think that would have definitely been a more. I think that would have maybe made a little bit more sense if you are What's Up Doc, if you do want to be playing that Orisa. But obviously no Orisa now, so I'm assuming we could just be seeing a Ram mirror here.
Yeah, a Ram mirror, I imagine that's the direction we are going with this ban. We could also be forcing it to be swapped a bit. Toast, you've been known to play a good amount of Zarya in your time. How would you say Zarya kind of fares into these tanks like a Ramatra? I feel like it's a little tough.
Yeah, I would say it is just because I mean I think also especially if your bubbles especially if your bubbles get forced, I think it makes it I think it does make it really easy for a Ram to just sort of throw a slow and then form, and then obviously if you're on Zarya, no matter how high charge you are, you can't really do a ton of damage into a blocking Ramatra. So, and also even just like the shield to sort of make you push forward, which can maybe like push you like past your supports maybe. So, I guess Zarya isn't really the best matchup into Ramatra, but it can definitely still work. You just sort of have to. Your team just sort of needs to play really fast and sort of have the Zarya maybe get. Obviously, the Zarya does have to have some energy, but I think if the Zarya can sort of get into the backline before the Ram can sort of punish anyone, then like, yeah, maybe I think the Zarya could work, but I would say Zarya is not really the strongest into Ramatra. I think Amir would definitely be a little bit better.
Yeah, I imagine we'll probably end up seeing that Ramatra Amir, as you point out there, Toast. In New Junk City, we've had some amazing maps throughout the divisions on this point. However, I believe we are going to be saying goodbye to New Junk City pretty soon, or at least this iteration of it, as I believe in the mid-season, the update comes out. We do get the Flashpoint rework, so everyone, this might be like basically the last time we see this iteration of New Junk City.
Yeah, I mean, I will say though, I haven't read too much into the changes. I guess I'm not really. I guess I don't really read the patch notes until the day of, or really look at what changes until the day of. So, but if these maps are changing, then like, I think that definitely could matter a lot, because I feel like a lot of teams are very used to the layout of all five of the of like basically all five of the flashpoints, and we're seeing what's up, Doc. Dustel is going to be on the Mauga now into the Hazard comp from AR High Noon, but obviously having no Kiriko on the field is not really good for the side of what's up, Doc, as Charlie Brown could just land an anti-grenade on Dustel while he is popping that cardiac arrest, and all of a sudden the cardiac arrest is just kind of useless, and Mauga is just a big hitbox for you to shoot, but looks like Dustel will be opting to go in first, but Chamoran gonna fall, but the backline from the side of AR High Noon taking a lot of pressure, but it's fairly even fight for now, but Luau gonna be able to take down Dux, and now it is just Seal CEO and Naiadis. Now just Naiadis. Naiadis gonna be able to take down the Lucio, but now the cardiac arrest will be popped there by Dustel, and Mauga very good at taking down tanks usually, but Naiadis gonna be able to take down Dustel as well. It's just the Hazard left Luau gonna be eventually gonna be able to get that kill, but right now it could be a stall attempt here from the side of AR High Noon if they wanted to. As it's currently still just Luau on the point below, applying a ton of pressure onto Charlie Brown, and Charlie Brown gonna eventually fall to Ricochet. So looks like AR High Noon just gonna have to slow down their engagement a little bit, or or maybe they should just opt to back up here if I am AR High Noon.
Yeah, it looked for a while there that AR High Noon might have been able to flip this and play a bit more into their stuff. And I'm kind of curious as to that Curie ban a little bit more now, because, I mean, what's up, Doc? They have been known to play these Mauga comps occasionally, especially during certain bans. But the Curie ban, I feel like that's one that, like, you could have put the Ana out on this at that point. It benefits the comp. But this what's up, Doc roster, they're just going to want to go in. They want to go fast. They want to pressure out, especially into, like, a Moira Juno backline. There is no sustain. There is no defensive cooldown. It is just either we go in and we get value, or we die trying, and currently they're doing the die trying half, which is not my option if I'm a backline.
And I feel like when they are running this Hazard as well, I think on Hazard isn't really a tank where you can just sort of run into the enemy team. You maybe want to set up a little bit for your dives, but I think with with that Juno Moira backline, it's really hard for Mitzi to live, especially when there is a Sojourn and a Tracer that can just pressure you out so easily. So I think AR High Noon will be going for a touch, or maybe not. No, they're definitely not going for a touch. But going into this next point, Dux will be having that blade available, and Sealskia will be close to that overclock. So definitely going to be an ultimate heavy fight going into this next one.
Yeah, definitely. I would say here, AR High Noon, if you're playing into a Mauga comp has the same weakness it's always had. If you just keep pressuring out the Mauga, rip his little bit of armor, and just poke into him kind of like flies, it's just hard for him to ever get anything done, because you're forcing the attention of the flex support. It's just so rough. The team can never go in with full util. But this AR High Noon, comp, it's not that great at it. However, just an amazing body shot with the OC onto Chamoran here. Looks like Duck's going in, being able to finish this off. Beat drop comes down from Ricochet here. His Cobalt, he's still one. He's being jumped by so many in the shout. It's just too late, as we can see the Sojourn trying to battle that 1v1 onto the point. but it's turned from 1v1 into an all-out brawl. Both teams just going at each other's throats here. Pulse Bomb coming out, Hoop Dreams from Luau again, and it just looks like at the end of the day, AR High Noon, they're able to turn it. That faster paced composition, those little bit of rail shots from Chamorn is just all they need. And AR High Noon, they are able to just turn it around. It just wasn't enough from this What's Up Doc roster to hold the point.
Yeah, it did seem like that Chamorn was sort of maybe on an angle of his own, because it definitely did seem like he was looking for a play with his own overclock. Because I don't know if you'd noticed that, but Chamorn actually did pop his own overclock, but then just got picked off by Seal CEO and Duck. So that's definitely not what you want to be seeing here if you are on What's Up Doc. And Bosa Portals are available as well for AR High Noon if they want to do that. But Seal CEO just taking down Chamorn very early. Cage going to be committed, but Bosa Portals in retaliation to make sure that the Mega Cage gets basically no value, as yeah, What's Up Doc is going to have to back up again. But AR High Noon, they did have to invest Bosa Portal ultimates into that fight.
Yeah, they did have to invest, but honestly, if you're Charlie Brown, I feel like that's what you're saving your coal for. Back when Malga, I know I'm about to bring some war flashbacks from the dark ages of Malga here for a lot of players. Moira was played a decent amount just because Cole was the only support that could consistently go through Cage and provide value to her team. And so that's kind of what you need it for. But Point being pressured out by What's Up Doc, they have nothing in the bank except for the window that is already out from Cobalt, bringing a little pressure. And I think that's another nobody hit by a teardown here as What's Up Doc. It's actually looking to be pretty even. Health bars slightly on their side here, but it looks like AR High Noon, they're just going to be able to clean this up if we can get it. You know what? We've all been there. You know, you don't need to hit every shot.
Yeah, it also just seems like when it is like a very scrappy fight, it does seem like AR High Noon, obviously they do have a little bit more sustained with that Moira Juno backline, and also I think the Moira pretty strong at just being self-sufficient and maybe getting a couple kills herself if he really wants to, and obviously just very good at, because obviously Moira does a fairly good amount of damage if you're not really looking at her. So I feel like in these very chaotic fights, you're not really expecting a Moira to be showing up out of nowhere to just do a ton of damage to you. And we're actually seeing Cobalt mirroring the Moira now, and Dust still going to be mirroring the Hazard as well. So looks like What's Up Doc, they are running this very fast support line with that Lucio Moira, so they need to go in as fast as possible. But Cobalt going to fall really early to Seal CEO. Ducks chasing down Chamoran, but Ricochet going to be able to get the trade, but Chamoran just so incredibly low, will just die to the Hazard block, and AR High Noon going to be able to get the first cap here.
Yeah, I would say What's Up Doc here, they make a fairly good maneuver. They're able to, I think, picking up the pace, picking up the tempo, especially with some of the points that we have left. It's probably the better move to make, but we can see here, AR High Noon, they managed to get that first cap, and they're holding on pretty well. But it does not look like What's Up Doc are on the same page as all. I mean, like, Luau's in the back line when no one's alive. I mean, Dusthell's 1 HP, Dusthell's 0 HP now. And the rest of What's Up Doc, it just feels like everyone is just so disconnected from each other that, I don't know, I feel like you kind of have to pop that C, go into the bottom right, and say group up, because the team, no one was near each other at all in that fight.
Yeah, it does seem like, I feel like What's Up Doc are just sort of making an adjustment to a comp that maybe they don't play as often, as obviously the Hazard requires you to be playing a little bit more faster than you would be on that Orisa, as Ricochet trying to go in, but Knight is just catching the Lucio here. They're not really able to escape it. Chamoran able to get 2 massive kills to even up the fight. Knight is going to be taking down the Sojourn, but the Hazard onto Dusttail will most likely be the finisher here for the side of AR High Noon. Cobalt could be popping the Coalescence, and actually Knight is falling really low here. Gonna have to be using up all of his block to try and survive, but eventually the damage from Luau and Cobalt will be taking down that Hazard, and Cobalt taking down another one. The Blade coming out here from Dugs, but the perfect sound barrier there from Ricochet to deny the Blade any value, as yeah, Charlie Brown gonna fall as well. So AR High Noon will be forced to concede the point, but they did get 99%, so definitely, so What's Up Doc gonna have to play very, very well here if they want to go up in this flashpoint.
Yeah, just really good there from What's Up Doc, being able to take that out, and all on the back of Chamoran, who genuinely has been playing very good throughout this set. I think Seal CEO and Ducks have been doing a really good job of kind of like a bit of like neutering this gameplay that's been coming out. But now we see the Hazard ult coming in. It just hits everyone, and
pulse bomb.
It's so big. Like, Listen, it might have not gone straight into the net, but like that bounced off the back and went straight in for just a 2-piece there. Just really good pulse to take advantage. And it seems like What's Up Doc still lose this fight.
Yeah, while it did seem like that What's Up Doc did have the advantages there because of that pulse bomb. As soon as Loa got those 2 kills, immediately the backline of What's Up Doc actually died to, I'm pretty sure it was either Naidas or Dux, but someone on the side of Air High Noon just able to eliminate both supports immediately. So What's Up Doc, despite the fact that they did have that massive ult combo, did not really, eventually though, like when you lose your supports that early into the fight, eventually, yeah, Air High Noon will be able to swing it back in their favor, and that's exactly what happened. So now Air High Noon gonna be up 2-1 in a fight that should have definitely gone to What's Up Doc.
Yeah, What's Up Doc? It feels like they're having like fairly good fights, but it's not at 100%. There always seems to be something that keeps it around that like 75% range for a good fight. And right now we can see they've swapped comps again. They're on a dive comp this time here. This What's Up Doc roster. Chamor, an amazing first pick again, managing to take out Charlie Brown on the Moira here. Chamor just being able to pressure out so much on this side, and Knight is 1 HP here, most likely going to go down, but takes out Cobalt before he falls, and just getting so much value onto this hazard here as the Juno goes down as well. Dusttail doing so much, but I mean, we are swinging a full rail Sojourn at 200 HP. I feel like every single person knew what was going to happen during that peak.
That's true. I'm fairly certain though, because just based off of the POV, it did look like Dusttail was selecting a perk, so maybe wasn't really watching. Maybe just wasn't watching for like the position of the enemies. But Chamorn gonna be popping that overclock and immediately taking down Missy, but the blade from Dux able to shut down the Sojourn, looking to get another kill here. Gonna be going on to Cobalt now. No sleep that available for that Ana will just be an easy pick for the side of Air High Noon. And yeah, What's Up Doc? Jamoran going to be swapping over to that Genji now, but this is a very last second recontest for What's Up Doc if they want to be pushing here. But Luau going to fall really early. That's not what you want if you're What's Up Doc, as now we're down to 96%, and now Air High Noon have that overclock to just sort of clean up these members, as there's no Ana on the side of What's Up Doc, so not a lot of healing to any of the members. And yeah, you just see everyone on the side of What's Up Doc falling, and Air High Noon will be going up 2-1 in the series.
Yeah, really good job from Air High Noon, just sticking to their guns, and with those like bans coming out, yes, the Orisa ban comes out, yes, the Kira ban comes out, but at the end of the day, like, you really got yourself into a position to take advantage of your team and be able to just really outmaneuver What's Up Doc throughout what it felt like nearly the entirety of this match.
Yeah, and also from the side of What's Up Doc, it definitely just seemed like a lot of fights were definitely winnable. But when it really matters and the fight gets, you know, it looks like they have the advantage. It looks like they just sort of choke it away, as they definitely should have won that third point there with the hazard roll and the pulse bomb. That was just so much value there from Luau and Dusttail. But again, the backline just not really able to survive somehow. I'm assuming maybe just a good amount of pressure coming out from the front line of Air High Noon, and I don't think maybe What's Up Doc were expecting it, as them dying there just sort of costed them that entire map, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. Yes, that one fight leads to the point loss, and you know, you could say you can still turn it around. Of course you can. It's Overwatch. Every game, every map is winnable. It's just such a motivational, just like, it just brings down the team when you lose such like a very close fight on a point that should be won, because Flashpoint takes up so much. You're at 69%. Winning that basically guarantees at 99, maybe even preventing a touch depending on how late someone dies on the enemy team. And it's just really hard to bring it back, especially when you're down so much ults. I mean, we saw it. They swapped their entire comp up 3 times, maybe even 4 times over the course of that map. In Flashpoint, it's not exactly slow. That's like basically a comp swap every 3 minutes, maybe max, maybe even 2.
Yeah, it definitely did seem like that What's Up Doc were sort of, I think they were maybe just sort of lost on what comp they wanted to play, because the entire time Air High Noon sort of stuck with the hazard comp, and because they like know that, oh yeah, like we want to be playing the hazard here because that works best for us, and we're just going to be running that for the entirety of Flashpoint, and maybe we have to make like a couple adjustments if we have to. But What's Up Doc just having to swap up the comps a lot also ruins their ult economy going into a lot of the fights there, as a lot of the time it does seem like that Air High Noon had those ultimates when What's Up Doc were just sort of coming up on their ultimates because they swapped their comps so late into the game.
Yeah, I definitely gotta agree with you here on that. But what's up, Doc? You get your map choice. We're going into a map 4. We're on Escort now. And I will say, this is not a great position to be in if you're What's Up, Doc. You've shown that you really want to play around these bulkier styles of compositions. And yes, the Orisa ban is gone. You can do like a quick little sigh of relief knowing that. But we're on Escort. And this is definitely the best mode for AR High Noon in its entirety. There is just, you want to play the dive, you want to be fast, you want to play these quicker tempo comps. And What's Up, Doc, you're going to need to find a way around this. You're going to need to potentially see, well, you know, maybe we get to take ourselves onto a map that we can kind of mitigate. Like, it's just tough. This really feels like a position where, for What's Up, Doc to win this and then turn it around, they have to kind of lock in.
Yeah, and also the stats for the escort maps. If I can see them in a different channel, but it does seem like that What's Up Doc and Air High Noon, they've both not really had the best success rate on any of these escort maps. Besides Air High Noon having a 1-0 score on Junkertown, every time What's Up Doc have gone to an escort map, they have not won it, unfortunately. So I would assume but they're actually going to pick Junkertown, the map that Air High Noon have won. So that's a very interesting pick there from What's Up Doc. Maybe maybe they have maybe they're just looking to play like a double sniper comp, maybe. But
I think
we'll see what happens.
When AR High Noon won this map, they did a Mata in and they played a ball comp. But Junkertown, honestly, not bad for ball, especially on that first and that second point. Very easy for him to disrupt. And they don't have Mata at the end of the day in this set. So maybe they're thinking, okay, we can still play our BAP Weaver on this comp. We are still pretty confident about picking an Orisa here. This should be good. Maybe we even see a Sigma or a Ram come out. And, you know, maybe they've got ideas, but all those ideas could be shut down here because if you are AR High Noon, you get that first ban. And I feel like this is a map where you can just say, okay, we're banning the Baptiste. And now, like, it's just a lot harder because, I mean, you know, both teams, they've wanted to play the Weaver, so I imagine we'll probably get a BAP ban more likely, especially so that way they can do, like, that Ana Weaver we saw in the first 2 maps coming up from AR High Noon. And so, I mean, it's such a rough situation for What's Up Doc to be in because not only did they lose the last map, now they're forced to play Escort, their worst mode. And neither of these teams are amazing at it. And they get first banned again, so this probably like denies their initial strategy. So, I mean, for What's Up Doc to win this, they really need to dig deep.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like the ban here from the set of What's Up Doc will be the Ana. I think that's a very interesting ban. I don't usually see Ana even played on Junkertown, to be honest, because usually I still see the very old school Sigma sniper with a Bab Zen comp. So I think the Ana ban is interesting, maybe, but I think What's Up Doc maybe they were just a little bit annoyed by the nano hazard, or maybe just the anti-grenades. Obviously, anti-grenades or just a nano hazard, very, very powerful. So I think getting rid of that is what What's Up Doc are looking for. But also, you don't really know what comp AR High Noon are going to play. You don't really know if they're going to be playing that. You don't really know if they're going to be running Ana at all on this map.
Well, now they definitely won't be with that ban. And another decision from AR High Noon to take the second ban. And I'll still say this. I really don't think, especially when you know you could just ban the BAP out from What's Up Doc, I'm just really curious why on this specific point you decide to give up that first ban when you could just shut it down. When you were playing on a Weaver and the enemy team clearly wanted to play BAP Weaver.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. Usually, because I would assume that usually you would always want to get the first ban, but I mean, because the last time that AR High Noon did go for that second ban, it was on Eichenwald and they did lose. So I do wonder I do wonder what their plan is when they go for that second ban still. Because I mean, yeah, like honestly, like I am also just kind of confused. Like I can maybe just sort of assume, like guess. Maybe like obviously like the only real explanation I can think of is like, oh yeah, they're trying to read what comp that the enemy team are playing based off of who they banned, but it's not really. I feel like that's not really like consistent. Like it doesn't really work all the time because you know you can ban one character and then just play a completely different comp than what they're expecting. So we'll see. But Air Heinen will be opting to ban the Freya on this map.
Yeah, I don't think the Freya is a bad ban here. We saw that What's Up Doc, they had a pretty decent amount of success with it earlier, especially on that Eichenwald map. We saw a really good amount from that, getting flashbacks again to there. And so we're going to find ourselves on this Junkertown map with basically you could just play standard Junkertown. You could play the Sigma, you could play BAP, you could play Weaver or Zen, and you could still do the DPS that everyone plays. And so these bans, they are definitely a lot more targeted at the teams than they are the overall pool, which I think definitely leads into really good understanding of like, okay, this is what the enemy teams have been playing. We should kind of work against that. And so I imagine we probably won't see a ton of difference going into this map. Maybe we'll see a Widow, maybe we'll see a Hanzo, maybe we'll probably still see Soj and Tracer and Genji being played though.
Yeah, and also for this map, last map there was supposed to be a sub where Pomku came in for Luau, but I'm assuming because since the score was 1-1, they didn't actually have to sub in Pomku, so then they didn't do that. But now, since it is 2-1, then this could be the final map. Pomku will be going in for Luau, and I think Pomku's like main characters are definitely Genji, and also, if I had to guess, he might have to play the Tracer. I know he says that Tracer is not really his strongest character, but he could just be opting to play that Genji, or maybe even like the Sojourn if he wanted to. Just any of those characters, I guess. So we'll see if it's maybe a different look, like a different play style from What's Up Doc when they do have Pomku in instead of Luau. But what kind of comps do you think Air Hainun are going to play?
I think Air Hainun, you've looked really strong on your hazard-based compositions. However, this is not the hazard-based map. This is not a map that you play hazard on. This is a map that I, as a tank player, really dislike playing hazard on. I know you yourself don't play a lot of the kind of Overwatch 2 tanks, but it's just really tough if you're not on a character like a Sigma or even like a D.Va, just some character that can mitigate, take a bit of space. So maybe this is the point where we see an Orisa mirror here. I mean, we saw it earlier. We saw it a bit on that Eichenwald map. And so we'll probably see some Orisa. We're definitely going to see Weaver. I can't imagine both teams don't rock out on like BAP Weaver and Ono. Well, not Ono Weaver. Maybe just BAP Weaver back alliance. We're probably just going to see a lot of that this map.
Yeah, just like because obviously I think those very slow comps can work on a map like Junkertown, because I think even when you're on like the double sniper poke comp, like you're not really like looking to go, and you are just also playing pretty slow. So I'm assuming maybe you're just looking to maybe just sort of sustain on the payload as much as you can, and just sort of brawl there. So that's I'm assuming that would be like why you would play the Orisa BAP Lifeweaver on Junkertown. And also the pedal platform is very strong for being able to take those high ground positions if you ever need to do that.
Oh yeah, just a random. You're already worried about a Widow being in like very specific locations that she can either grapple to or just stand at. That's weird. Now factoring in the fact they can just be on a pedal platform in just a weird spot and just headshot someone and just take them out of the fight before it begins. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of people really don't like going to these Widowmaker friendly maps, because you could just lose a fight before it starts off of just like an angle.
Yeah, and obviously Widowmaker herself just does a very good job of able to deny an entire angle from the enemy team if she's good enough, because that one shot potential is just so scary to deal with, and also very hard to deal with if, again, like, yeah, she's playing behind a shield, or if she's just taking an angle that you're not really expecting. So yeah, if we can see if teams opt for the Widowmaker, but I would assume that maybe we just see maybe something more similar to what we saw on Eichenwald.
Yeah. We're probably going to see it. Never mind. I imagine. Okay, What's Up Doc roster here. Dustel has been known to play a good bit of that Sigma. And so this does make sense. I am a little surprised that we aren't seeing the Weaver here. But at the same time, if you're having Ricochet in, that means you're not playing the BAP Weaver as much, because usually when they're playing the BAP Weaver, they are doing Coolant and Cobalt. They have Cobalt over on the Weaver. They have Coolant on the BAP. But clearly they've put more value onto the Zen here, and they've got to be very confident about this. This is do or die time for this roster. And Air Hainun, I know they haven't walked out of spawn yet, but it really looks like they're going to keep this hazard here, and I am not a huge fan of hazard on this map. You need to be beyond proactive and just willing to sit there and take damage because it is just so tough to get past poke comps as Hazard.
Yeah, and we are going to see Duck swapping off of that Widowmaker, and I do think the most interesting part of this AR High Noon lineup is we are seeing that Moira carry backline. I do think that backline is not actually that bad. A very like self-sustainable backline, and obviously Kiri has a pretty good amount of defensive utility, but obviously it's not going to work if we just gonna get vibored by Ricochet there, as Duck's looking for something on the Genji, but will get rocked by Dustel and eliminated. So the Sigma already finding a ton of value. Dustel finding 2 picks on the Sigma, so now AR High Noon just gonna have to back up here. Maybe getting a late kill onto Nidus. Nidus is just sort of chilling around, just maybe trying to survive. But yeah, it's a pretty late kill.
Yeah, and it's only been one fight, but we can already see how tough it's probably going to be for this AR High Noon roster without some pretty big swaps. We do see the backline get swapped. It is still going to be a definite uphill battle for Nidus to get past the insane poke potential of What's Up Doc, especially with just a Discord orb being flung onto that Hazard. But this is good. They're pressuring at the back angle. They're forcing a poke comp to take less angles. And this Zen is just 1 HP, and Nidus and Dux finishes it off, but they trade their lives to do it. And I mean, the spawn rooms are pretty even at this point in the map from each other. But AR High Noon, I mean, you don't really get a ton out of that. Like, yes, you kill the Zen, and you are making a swap over to the Tracer at this point. But this is just kind of rough.
Yeah, and I do agree that the Hazard just seems to be struggling a lot. Even though Nidus did get that pick eventually, you just see the Hazard just sitting in that backline for just way too long, and yeah, that just allows Dusty to just put so much damage into that Hazard, as the Rock can also just interrupt the block from Hazard as well. And also, yeah, as you can see right there, you can also eat the wall. So Flux going to be committed though from Dustel. Lamb coming through, but not going to be able to save Mitzi, as Mitzi going to fall first, as Nidus looking for something. We'll be able to take down Cobalt, but the Transcendence committed by What's Up Doc to just clean up the rest of these AR High Noon members, and Chamorn getting a lot of value on that Surgeon. Duck's just trying to survive, but might die late if he's not careful, and gonna be a very late stagger there onto Ducks as well.
I think this is a really good pick from What's Up Doc into their opponent here, because, you know, a lot of the teams that they have played into, they do play that Sigma. They play a lot more of that poke style. But I think Nidus really just wants to stick to this Hazard here, and I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm a big Hazard believer. I really do think he's probably the best character in the meta right now. But this is just, I would say, probably his worst map. Like, I actually can't think of a worse map to try and play Hazard into. And just, we can see that AR High Noon, they managed to finally take this off. But it's off the back of this Bob. What's Up Doc gets caught a little bit with their support pants down. They don't have either their big support ults to help in the way that they needed to. And they just kept letting this back angle get taken by a member of AR High Noon. And the first point, probably the best point for What's Up Doc to hold on, just goes out the window. Yes, they drain a lot of the time bank. They were down to only about 40 seconds left. But it's going to be easier now that they're on second and third for AR High Noon, because the sightlines are just a lot closer.
Yeah, and also I think Cobalt did actually commit the winner there when CLCO looked for that Bob, but yeah, again, I think maybe they were just caught a little off guard by the flanking Sojourn, but the flanking Ashe, I mean, and Mitzi gonna be able to get the first pick, but a couple good trades there from the DPS line of What's Up Doc, and Pump are gonna be popping the blade, but not gonna be able to find too much. Looking at the slash onto CLCO, but Charlie Brown gonna be able to take down the blading Genji. So, but it still looks like What's Up Doc do have majority of the space here, as we are seeing CLCO just sort of forced to play in this sort of very tight position, not really able to take a lot of space there, as yeah, the slow from Chamorn to deny that angle from CLCO as well. So again, just a very slow push here from the side of AR High Noon, but Nidus will be able to go up to that high ground, but immediately rocked, and yeah, just gonna get burned down by that Discord orb as well, and also the overclock committed by Chamorn. Chamorn almost taking down Missy as well. But if you're AR High Noon, you should probably just back up. You don't really have your Hazard, and yeah, Nidus is going to be opting to finally swap off of that character. We'll be going on to the Winston now for a more standard dive.
Yeah, What's Up Doc? We saw it there. Okay, I'm gonna imagine that was definitely a fat finger. I didn't see any damage output come through, and Ducks, yeah, still has the pulse bomb. currently, I think What's Up Doc is like 0-40 for ult usage on this map, but it doesn't look like AR High Noon are. I think they're in the same boat. I don't know. And Nidus, he's jumped in again and fallen immediately, and we've seen both trances. We'll say they got value to be nice, but
Yeah.
I don't feel like I saw any healing, and they're just dead. Yep. Goodbye.
It definitely, yeah, I'm assuming the transcendence from Mitzi was to try to keep Nidus alive. I'm not so sure, but
I think so.
maybe it was just a swap as, yeah, Mitzi will just be going over to the Brig, and Fat Finger from Ricochet, that's unfortunate. I've fat fingering always happens. I fat finger a lot too, so that's fine.
Dude, I think I fat fingered recently against my Zephyr match, and no one caught it. If you look at that match at all, I pop Orisa ult on the trek to third, and no one catches it, which is crazy. So, yeah, someone go get that because no one pointed out. However, it looks like What's Up Doc, they're finally in a spot with no ult, so AR High Noon, they have such a big advantage here, and with the Bob is what won them that first point, Dusto getting forced out with Cobalt, and we can see the benefit of that Sigma perk, lands those 5 orbs, manages to punch away Nidus on the Winston here, but Nidus just jumps on the head of the Sigma, and I mean, listen, Sigma's usually the tank that floats, but I guess Nidus, that's basically floating, you know, you're on the Sigma and he's off the ground, so you know what, same thing.
Yeah, and I do think the bomb engages from AR High Noon I think they are very smart, because I think just the amount of disruption it causes What's Up Doc. I feel like they're maybe not prepared to sort of kite those two ultimates, as you see the window coming through there from Charlie Brown as well. It basically, there's like a Bob behind them and then a window in front of them. So basically, if you're What's Up Doc, you would maybe want to drop or try to go into that room, but it was just maybe a little bit too late, and maybe they just couldn't react in time to all that damage coming in from those two ultimates. But of course they did cap in overtime though, so obviously a pretty decent hold still from the side of What's Up Doc, and they do have the ultimate advantage going into this next fight here. Overclock going to be the first ultimate committed here by Chamoran, looking to take down Charlie Brown. A couple of shots going wide, but eventually will be able to get the pick onto Charlie Brown, and the second one onto Seal CEO. Ducks going to be able to take down Dusttail, but looks like AR High Noon will have to back up there. Nidus actually committed the Primal Rage there as well.
Yeah, there's a lot that seems to be going on, and I don't know what it is, but it really feels like right now, What's Up Doc, they're able to win these fights pretty cheaply, but in the overtime, they just lose to just Seal CEO. Just like Bob is doing everything in some of these, and AR High Noon, I would love to see like a really good ultimate fight out of them. They just seem to be throwing one away just right at the end, and What's Up Doc, they've got everything, basically, for this fight.
Yeah, there's a Casino Rush coming through, but the Lamb coming out there from Cobalt to keep everyone alive, and the Transcendence, the Flux, the Blade, just every ultimate from the side of What's Up Doc committed, and yeah, that just gonna overwhelm everyone on AR High Noon. Pomku gonna fall to Seal CEO, but I don't think it's gonna matter. It's just a very desperate recontest attempt from AR High Noon. As yeah, What's Up Doc gonna be able to get the hold as
I think we've had someone needs to check. I'm pretty sure we've popped like 3 Dragon Blades and have gotten. I think we've died instantly on all 3 of them. Listen, it's a rough world out here for Flex DPS. We've seen Hoop Dream Pulse Bombs and just blades that look like pool noodles. But you know what? At least it's happening on both sides. I don't think we've seen a blade or a pulse stick from AR High Noon either. So you know what? You guys can go back and watch the match together and see who missed more.
yeah, and I think the Blade's obviously not really getting their value, but What's Up Doc, they just had so many ultimates in that fight. It basically didn't matter. They had 5 ultimates to work with. Just the Transcendence to keep up everyone, the Flux to deal so much damage. The Kutsune Rush of Mitzi just looked almost invisible because, you know, everyone from the side of What's Up Doc is pressing Q. That's definitely a surefire way to win. So pretty good hold there from What's Up Doc. I feel like normally on Drickertown you maybe see them push the card maybe a little bit more to just before the final cap. So I think them able to stop the card at where it is definitely pretty good there. As I think it also prevents that sort of I guess 2CP issue where like where like the defenders have like way better spawns.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with you there, Test. And we see a pretty different roster from this AR High Noon. Not roster, see composition. we're seeing Sigma for the first time from Nidus. Apparently, he has the Sigma in the pocket and just really didn't want to pull it out on the attack round. I mean, they still brought it really far. Seal CEO, I like the stick onto the Ashe here. I think that Bob and Dynamite just got such an insane amount of value that even if you weren't like two-tapping people with headshots, you know, Pumpku, it's fine. We're not even on your POV right now. We have no clue you're missing. Just keep doing your best. Oh, see, look right there. See, no one was watching. We were there for that shot.
Yeah, exactly. All we see is just an insane Widowmaker play. All we care about is that one headshot. And Pumpku gets a second kill on this Widowmaker, getting a ton of value there. Pumpku already getting a lot of value to start off the fight here for What's Up Doc. And yeah, Duck's just going to get overwhelmed by Chamorin. And yeah, off the back of those two picks, you know, I feel like Air Hainu just, if they can pick off Naitis here, I feel like What's Up Doc can just basically cap first point already, and the Lamp and Suzu both committed actually to help Naitis leave, and yeah, it's just a ton of sustain with that comp to keep the team alive. And Seal CEO now on the Widowmaker, so now we have a Widowmaker mirror of Seal CEO versus Pumpku. This will be very enjoyable to see, but Naitis taking a ton of pressure there on the cart, but Pumpku not going to be able to survive the engage from Duck. Seal CEO grappling up onto that high ground, looking for a shot onto Ricochet, but Ricochet going to be able to duck and weave around those shots, and both Traces going to fall those, so pretty even so far for both sides, but obviously Nidus getting a pretty good amount of sustain from that backline, but the Flux coming out there, well, the support's not going to be able to keep up the Sigma anymore.
Why are we watching CCO's
there's just so much going on. Those pearls committed as well, but
I feel like that was so mean to like just sit on Seal CEO's POV there when we clearly should have been watching like I'm sorry. Listen, both Pumpku and Seal, I mean, we have the Battle of the Century on the Widows here, and honestly, listen, I wouldn't have hit any of those shots either, so but I'm the caster, so I get the laugh.
Yeah, you know, yeah, me too. If I'm playing Widowmaker, no headshots, I'm only hitting body shots. That's why I'm a tank player. That's why I only play that's why I only play Zarya, that's why I only play D.Va, because you don't have to hit any headshots on those characters, so, you know, I completely understand not being able to hit any shots on the Widowmaker, but Pumpku gonna get, I think
he hit the headshot, he hit the Widow headshot!
And the Flux coming through there from Naiad is able to bring Dusta down pretty low, but the window, and pretty good healing there from the side of What's Up Doc, but Chamorin gonna fall to Seal CEO. Dustel just trying to get as much value from that window, and we'll be able to get a pretty good amount of damage in, but Duck's not really accounted for on this Tracer. Has that pulse bomb available. Recall gonna be forced though in the rock from Dustel. Seal CEO just gonna be able to dash away at the very last second. Pulse bomb still available here for the side of Ducks if he wants to use it, but more ultimates here from the side of What's Up Doc definitely. So definitely want to be looking at how they're going to be utilizing those. Pulse bomb from Ducks not going to be able to get the stick onto the Sigma. So like it looks like both teams just opting to not really play super fast. You're just sort of looking to maybe poke out a team again. Yeah, it's just how Junkertown is. You're just maybe looking for a pick here. Seal CEO trying to go on Pumpku, but Pumpku going to be able to get the kill onto the Genji, but Naiad is taking down Cobalt, so that's so much healing down for the side of What's Up Doc. Chamorin looking to find anything here, and Naiad is actually going to fall there to Pumpku, and Ricochet going to be popping the Transcendence, so What's Up Doc just going to be pushing in now. Chamorin going to be able to clean up the rest of Air High Noon, as yeah, What's Up Doc is going to be able to push into second point here most likely.
Yeah, just a really good overall second point fight from What's Up Doc. They slowed down the pace of the game. They managed to get the ults that they needed for that fight. I know we see a touch right now, but this doesn't matter. What's Up Doc? Just a really good job of making use of the benefits of their comp. You can tell that they're very clearly practiced on this poke style. In Air High Noon, they haven't looked bad, but it's just kind of rough to contest a Widow in this backline of poke with Tracer Genji. You have to be super proactive, and no one can really help you besides your other DPS. And Ducks, just as I said, you go in on that side angle, you try to pressure out, and just there's so many people looking to go on you, and just
the blade coming out from Seal CEO, able to dodge the Flux actually from Dustale. Going to be slashing on to Ricochet, will be eventually taking down that Zenyatta, and that the blade from Seal CEO actually did get a pretty good amount of value, able to bait out that Graphilic Flux, and Dustale going to be getting staggered. Yeah, very smart play here from the side of Air High Noon, but you can't let the Sigma charge up the Flux too much though. You got to take him down eventually.
Yeah, that was a good stagger, though, that drains a bit off the clock. That's 1 minute shaved off for this roster. 3 minutes remain. 3 minutes, though, you don't even have to get to the end of this point. Honestly, if you look in the top of your screen, that little yellow box there, it means this is kind of within one fight win. So if you're AR High Noon, you have to kind of dig in your heels and stand your ground. What's up, Doc? They're coming up on a good amount of ults. AR High Noon probably going to want to go first with this window, start to alleviate some pressure. The Tracer duel is coming out on the side angle as Nidus pops the flex, maybe hoping to quickly grab someone in the pulse bomb, comes out, grabs no one. We'll mark that down at the end of the map as into the pulse's missed category. But AR High Noon, they're able to trade 1-for-1. Their HP bars, they're just a little bit too low, though. And Dusttail in the back as PomQ kills two. Mitzi sweeps out PomQ from under the rug as well. Nidus finally goes over to that Ramatra, bring it into that brawl style. And what's up, Doc? That fight was cheap. You have everything for this fight, basically, except your DPS ults. And Chim goes down.
Oh, and goodbye, Chip more. Yeah, again, that was... I'm pretty sure AR High Noon were maybe... I think the Kitsune rush from Mitzi was maybe a little bit out of place for where AR High Noon were sort of brawling What's Up Doc, so definitely a big ultimate advantage here for the side of What's Up Doc if they want to be pushing in there. Chimorn on the Genji now will be back very shortly, as yeah, I think they're just going to be looking for this flux from Dusttail first to sort of pick someone up. Early land force though from Cobalt, as Dusttail taking a good amount of poke damage, and also that Ramatra. Very, very good at just walking into a Sigma if the Sig doesn't have the rock available, but the Flux going to be committed. They're able to hit Ducks, but going to be able to survive that though. Not a lot of follow-up going to be possible. Trent going to be committed though from the side of What's Up Doc, and the rock almost taking down Mitzi, but the Suzu absolutely clutch. And now CLCO has this blade available here. Will be popping it, looking for something, kind of slashing, looking for something. They're going to be going on Cobalt now, and finally the kill on the Baptiste is absolutely massive, and we'll also be able to get the Mega Health Pack as well. So it looks like What's Up Doc, they had the ultimate advantage, but after popping them, nothing really happens there.
Yeah, honestly, Dux is pretty lucky that that rotating platform caught him on the head, because there's a much higher chance that Dusttail gets that finish off. And we do see some swaps come in now. In AR High Noon, you've built this to a last fight. This is it. You have the ult advantage. You have the better brawl comp right now, and all you need to do is win this one fight and you close out the series. This is it. This is do or die. You're getting close to your annihilation. You have Noon, you have Window. Slow down the pace of the fight, pop your Window and look for it. And if you're What's Up Doc, you just need to get a pick, maybe a PomQ headshot, something. You need to cancel this Noon, and it's getting close. Ooh, Charlie Brown just barely dodges it, and that's the Window out. We'll see what's going to happen, but it's looking pretty dire for What's Up Doc in this last fight.
Yeah, the Window going to be popped there from the side of Charlie Brown. Dusttail going to be able to cancel the High Noon at the very last second. The PomQ going to be popping the overclock, so now it's time for What's Up Doc to finally get a push in, and PomQ going to be able to get the first pick onto CLCO, but that Ramatra ult could be absolutely devastating if they cannot get rid of that Ramatra immediately. But the Kitsune rush coming out here as well, so Nidus is going to be able to punch away at What's Up Doc, but it's just a fortified Orisa on the payload, and obviously you can't kill a fortified Orisa no matter how much damage you pump into her. Window coming out here from Cobalt though, but this Ramatra is still up from Nidus. Finally going to expire though. Sound barrier available for Ricochet. This could be the finisher here for What's Up Doc to make this go to a map 5 series. Ricochet popping that sound barrier, and the Blade going to be coming through here from Chimorn. Going to be able to take down Charlie Brown, and PomQ going to be able to get the pick onto CLCO as well. And finally, at the very end, What's Up Doc, with building up those ultimates, will be able to take Junkertown, and we'll be bringing it to a map 5. Another map 5.
Yeah, another map 5 here that we get to go. This is super exciting here. It seems that I am forever cast or cursed to bring games to a map 5. This is the third one in a row. All 3 play-ins matches I have casted have gone in that map 5, which is massively entertaining, for sure. I kind of wish that AR High Noon just went more aggressive there. I mean, they had such a big ult advantage, and I feel like if they were a bit more proactive, they could have just ran down the backline with the ult advantage that they had and just ended the game right there. Because they were so far off both support ults. Both supports built like anywhere between 30 to 50% on their ult in that last like 40 seconds. And I don't know, AR High Noon, maybe they felt a little complacent. They got a first pick. They managed to get a little bit of that lead. They had the annihilation on point, and just getting Blade with the backup of both support ults, it's just really hard to rip through. And this is an exciting map 5. AR High Noon, you are getting your control point map again. It cannot be Nepal. And I don't know, I think there's a trend going on here where AR High Noon, they give up that first ban and they lose in a map where they probably should have won if they just had that first ban to be able to play around it. So I cannot imagine we are going to be having What's Up Doc give that same leisure to Air High Noon in this important map 5.
Yeah, and going back to Junkertown, yeah, I definitely do agree. I do think that when the Ramot was committed, they should have just tried to walk in more aggro, but instead you just kind of see instead you just kind of saw the Ramatras just trying to face tank the Orisa, and obviously Orisa just very good at just sitting on point. So if you're playing Ramatra, Orisa should not be the target that you're looking for. I think it would have been much better if they tried to go fast onto the backline before they got the support ultimates online. But I think Air High Noon just took that fight way too slowly and allowed for What's Up Doc to kind of swing the ultimate advantage back into their favor, and that definitely helped them win that final fight.
Well, I definitely agree with you there, Toast. This has been, honestly, just a really back and forth set. I think that goes to show how much all of these teams are willing to kind of like dig their heels into the ground and do their absolute most, pull out all the stops that they can to try and win these sets. And these are still playing round ones. Like, we haven't even had like a play in round 2 match at all. The most we've had is like Whoop Troop Campfire Song is going on the A stream right now. And then besides that, we've had the Bluff Creek Big Mode Ignite Memories game, and like all those have been round ones. We do see the Bear 3-0s Log Racers. This is the team that most people were like expecting to potentially drop in 8th without a map win, and you're telling me that they okay, hold up. I'm gonna need some information on that. However, on the mainstream, those that are still watching, it is 2-1 right now. Whoop Troop up against Campfire Song. We may potentially see this go to a map 5 here. And so I'm a little curious. Have you done your play-in preds at all, Toast? Do you have any idea of who you think might win?
I think for Whoop Troop versus Campfire Song, I think I did overall have Whoop Troop winning that game. I think especially considering that they were able to get Memory to play DPS now, because Memory is a DPS player, so now he is able to main roll now instead of being stuck on support. And obviously, I think the roster is pretty strong. You know, when they have Cam and Tyler, I think those are all very strong pieces. And actually, in case for Whoop Troop, they do have Dab Master actually ringing on support right now. So
that Dab Master main support, I saw it in a warm up. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you do not need to hide. Yes, there are cats and dogs raining from the sky, and the world is turning upside down. We do have Dab on main support. Everyone cower in fear of the Dab Lucio. It is real and it will hurt.
Yeah, and right now, what is happening right now with Whoop Troop and Campfire Song is Campfire Song they made it like halfway through third point, and Whoop Troop, I think I was gonna say they're just about to cap, but it looks like Campfire Song are winning a fight right now. So it looks like Whoop Troop have 45 seconds left, and they're just getting a stagger now onto Tyler, I'm pretty sure.
We are going to continue through here into this map 5. Both teams are looking to get their bans out. It looks like we are going to Ilios for that map 5 from an AR High Noon pick. And What's Up Doc are going to ban the Genji out as we see a Brig ban in return for that AR High Noon. I think these are both very smart bans overall. If you were to say, I would say both teams have gotten some Genji value out, but I've got to say, like, What's Up Doc, I feel like they've gotten more value out of the Genji than this AR High Noon squad. I would have rather seen a Tracer ban. I guess, you have Luau coming in on the Tracer. But correct me if I'm wrong, have we seen, like, any Genji from AR High Noon?
Yeah. Dux has been playing a pretty good amount of if Dux is not on that Tracer, then yeah, we do see Dux playing that Genji, and I think Dux has been getting a pretty good amount of value, especially on the I'm pretty sure he has gotten a couple of pretty good blades off so far this game, so I'm assuming they're just trying to make sure that Dux can't go Genji and just sort of force that Tracer mirror, which obviously seems to be a more of a comfort pick for Luau, so I think that's what they're trying to go for.
Yeah, that's really good insight there. That was really good. This is a good Brig ban too. We saw that What's Up Doc, their team that likes to slow the pace of games down, and Air High Noon, they haven't really wanted to play any Brig. They're more of a, we play a Lucio or we play a Weaver. We clearly want to not go onto the Brig if possible. And so just eliminating this presence from What's Up Doc, because we did see them play it a bit. This is just nice you can probably just force the on a Weaver that you were playing on the last control map. I know it feels like forever ago that we were on Nepal, but if you can turn your brain back about an hour and a half-ish or so to then, you will remember that they were on that. And so, Era Hainun, I think they've actually set themselves up for a pretty good potential to win this map 5. It's on a good dive map. They have their Winston. They have their backline of choice. What's up, Doc? They're going to need to dig deep again, but honestly, this set is extremely close. This could go either way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I feel like having no tank bans, I think that I think that would open up the opportunities for teams to play different comps the most. Because I think the tank is sort of what molds these comps together. Obviously, because you want to
The focal
build
point.
a comp. You want to be building your comp around the tank. You know, it's not like we have like this DPS line, so we should be running this tank. It's usually like, no, we should be running this DPS line because we have this tank. So, I think Ilios, I have seen both like hazard dive comps as well, but like also I have seen like the Life Weaver as well on Ilios as well. So I think maybe we're gonna see both of those styles coming out here. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and it does look like Luau is coming back in for map 5 from what I was told. So we will be seeing that Tracer duel as you predicted with that Genji ban there. But it does look like we do have a minute or so until this fully launches out. So I'm curious here from you, Toast. When going into this, because you are on the Frogs on Fire roster, you are sitting nice and comfy in that playoffs there yourselves. Is there any kind of player, any team that you're looking to kind of shout out? Maybe someone that didn't make it, maybe someone that is on the other side of the bracket. Is there a team you're maybe trying to play against? Is there a player you're hoping to see in this playoffs?
Wait, is this about like A League or
just in general? A League, B
general.
League. What do you think? Is there a certain player that you're kind of keeping your eye on into the playoffs?
I mean, I guess it's like no offense to you, but I'm good friends with almost everyone on Camp Half Court.
I really like Camp Half Court. I'm sad that we have to play them.
Yeah. Like I'm friends with a lot of people on Camp Half Court, so like obviously I want to see them do well, and I think, but obviously it's going to be a very challenging game for them, in my opinion. So, you know what? Anything can happen, and this looks like there's going to be a pause game. But then, and then for the side, and then for B League, I guess like honestly, I do want to see Camp Jumpshot do pretty good as well, because that is another team that is mostly run by Kernmaster, and Kernmaster is one of my favorite people. He is very awesome. He's very chill, so I always would be wanting his team to be succeeding. So if Camp Jumpshot does good, that's also another team I'd be looking out for.
Nice.
Like, I guess like I would want to be cheering for them. So
That's really good. I think that, for those that can even imagine, it's been a long time since the start of this season. Realistically, the draft was so long ago at this point. We've been through 6 weeks of matches. This is week 7, if you can believe it, of BPL season 7. I know, right? It feels kind of crazy that it's been so long. Completely different teams, completely different chemistry from those beginning weeks. And so, this is kind of nice to be able to see it all culminate in these like really good, close games coming out near the end. And so, for every team that's currently in play-ins, I'm wishing everyone the best of luck to make it to the playoffs, show the entirety of BPL the stuff you've been working on, and really just push forward all those really fun moments you've had as we go into our final map of this really close set.
yeah, and we're actually going to be seeing the Lucio on a backline here from the side of What's Up, Doc. So maybe with that Orisa, they are looking to maybe go a little bit faster, which I mean, I'm not so sure about how well that is going to work, because that is obviously kind of deviates from the Life Weaver that they've been loving to run for majority of the game. But Duck's going to fall really early there to Ricochet, so the Lucio getting the immediate value, just able to contest the Tracer on that off angle if possible, because I think Lucio is a very good character to sort of go with the Tracer or even just deny the Tracer value. So Duck's definitely a little bit disadvantaged when it comes to dueling Chamorn, because Duck's not really having that Lucio to sort of assist him around in that duel.
Yeah, What's Up Doc getting a really good first fight here, as we can see they're able to kind of cement themselves. We've seen this Orisa Hazard matchup since it's a tale as old as time in this setup. The AR High Noon comp, they're going to be a bit more mobile, but this What's Up Doc comp, they're going to be a bit more able to kind of stabilize around the corners, be a bit bulkier here. And we can see from the sides of What's Up Doc, this Freya, it's out on both sides, and apparently blink and you miss it here is Chamorin and Ricochet. They're able to commit like a hit and run on Steel CEO and Charlie Brown. I didn't even really catch where that was, but maybe that was up on the top right. That was just a really clean execution on those picks.
Yeah, and obviously when you force air high noon, when you pick off the when you also pick off the honor from Charlie Brown, you notice that Charlie Brown is nowhere close to that nano boost. So I think the nano boost that coming out here from Cobalt can definitely be the one that sort of decides this next fight. As What's Up Doc, I think Nano Arisal is a very deadly combination if you can hit a lot of squishies with it. So. And Luau just gonna be able to pick off Steel CEO. I think Steel CEO tried to go for maybe a bit of an ego duel onto that Tracer, but not gonna quite work out. Knight is looking for something, but just gonna get slept, in the Freya and the bullet shot gonna be committed there by Chamor. Knight is just gonna have to jump off the map, and we're already at 80%, and What's Up Doc still have a good amount of ultimates to counteract the ultimates coming out here from AR High Noon.
Yeah, we're all the way through the round, and we're just hitting 80% on our like Hazard ult and Nano. We can really see just the amazing, good, fast-paced pressure that What's Up Doc has been able to push through. And if you're What's Up Doc, you're really not scared of anything from AR High Noon. Like, yes, they pop the Cure Rush here, but you can just Nano the Orisa and just do an aggressive beat drop engage, and there's not a lot that can happen. As you see, Nano comes out, Cobalt, and then Ajax comes out. That's the best way AR High Noon could turn this around, and Dusttail, there's just nothing you can do. You know, you keep your ult in, really smart there, and just, man, I'm just surprised. What's Up Doc? They've been so good about their aggression. They're going first. It just none of that in that last fight, and they waste both support ults.
Yeah, and Ajaxing there is just really unfortunate going into this next fight, especially when AR High Noon have that Hazard ult and also the Nano, so you don't really have a sound barrier to counteract the Hazard ult if it hits someone, and Steel CO just gonna be able to take down Cobalt very early, so What's Up Doc just gonna have to wait for their honor to come back. So already, I think when What's Up Doc are gonna start pushing, AR High Noon are gonna have like 35, even 40% here going into this next fight, and they didn't have to commit anything there, just the pick onto the Ana.
Yeah, really good picks there. And as you fantastically said, AR High Noon, they're getting pretty full on this lunchbox here. It's basically packed to the brim with fantastic ultimates to choose from. And What's Up Doc, I mean, they're not slacking. They have these DPS ults and this Terra Surge, but it just doesn't have that same oomph. And we see the teardown come in on the side. I don't think it caught anyone. Maybe Cobalt. It looks like Cobalt was caught at the very end here. And just two go down. And if you're What's Up Doc, you see that it's just so rough. That defensive positioning you held was such a boon for this team comp that it's now really hard for them to actually get that space they need, because AR High Noon, they've got so much poke from just about everyone. Some people forget, but like, Anakiri hurts. Oh, and we see, wow, sneaking up, going for a little bit of a pulse bomb here. I don't think he's been seen yet. Just a single blink pulse.
If you can get a pulse bomb, that is absolutely massive. And the Suzu not going to be there for Mitzi, so no Ana means no Nano Boost, and Knight is falling really low here, so they can just burn the Hazard now. Not enough healing there from Mitzi, but Duck's going to be able to take down one Mitzi, taking down the Ana as well. No backline actually for the side of What's Up Doc, but Dusttail able to sort of fortify down on this objective with the Orisa, and the bullet shot onto Steel CEO just... and man, is able to take down that Freya immediately. The Nano Hazard coming through, but not going to be able to get the touch in, and Luau basically single-handedly winning that point there for What's Up Doc with that Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, really good job from Luau. We've seen throughout multiple of these maps. We saw it on Nepal. We saw it on Eichenwald. Just this really backline rat gameplay from Tracer that this character is known for. And Luau just showing it off really expertly of just being a constant thorn in the side of this team. I mean, we saw there wasn't a single death from either of these What's Up Doc DPS, and like they lost a good consistent amount of fights here. And the damage output isn't super high across the board, which means these teams, they've been taking these fights fast. This is just a clean, just 1-2, someone dies, and the fight's over. So really good from both sides so far.
Yeah, and we are going to be seeing the exact same comp here from both sides. I do think that, you know, it was overall a pretty close round from AR High Noon, so they will be opting to play that same composition, but CLCO taking a pretty good amount of poke very early, so will be forced to play with his backline. Not going to be not really able to take a angle right now. Just sort of playing with the hazard right now is, I think Nidus just looking for something, as the rest of What's Up Doc are just sort of playing around this cage area. It's really up to Nidus to sort of find a good engage onto the backline of What's Up Doc, and he will be able to apply a ton of pressure. No kills coming out just yet, but that damage onto Chamoran just sort of forcing Air Hainan back maybe. But as I say, that CLCO will fall to that Freya, and Ricochet just is Reddit Lucioing around the map here, booping the rest of Air Hainan into Dusttail. Gonna be able to survive, as well as Duck's just getting bullied in this corner, but Dusttail eventually just gonna be opting to shoot his shoot his gun a little bit as well. Gonna be able to take down Nidus, as What's Up Doc gonna be able to win the first fight there. Just playing really slow, which is exactly how they want to be playing this.
Yeah, they did a really good job playing around the comp in the way that they want to. And Air Hainan, they just kind of got forced into a corner. Luau down at the beginning of this fight, so you can see the Freya battle on the sideline here. It looks like just right at the end. CLCO almost tiptoes off the map, but is good. And in that last fight there, we saw, even though there were no kills that came out on the side of What's Up Doc for a while, they did just manage to hold the backline still for enough time to get those picks, and now we can see Dusttail dies near the end, but they stalled at a good percent, 35%. It's a really solid number to start out on. And Air Hainan and What's Up Doc, neither team is using ult yet. Both their lunch boxes, they're getting pretty full, you know? We've got a lot of ults to choose from. We're able to open it up, pick our nice selection from them, but it's really going to start out on whether or not either of these Freyas can quickly pick up a kill.
Yeah, and I definitely do think the biggest ultimates from both sides are, it's definitely going to be the Kitsune Rush and then the Orisa ultimate from What's Up Doc. I think those will be the ultimates that can really kind of turn the fight in their favor. Dusttail going really aggro. The Nano Aristo going to be coming through. The Suzu not timed very well for Mitzi, and Mitzi will fall, but Dusttail going to have to trade his life for that though. So, but Chamoran with that bullet shot will be taking down Ducks, but still no tank on the side of What's Up Doc means that they have to play a little bit more safe, as Knight is just able to sustain very well here. We'll be popping that hazard roll, not going to be able to catch too much, as just a ton of pressure on that hazard will be anti, but the Suzu coming out here very last second from Mitzi, but Steel CEO will get eliminated by Cobalt, but Knight is going to be able to take down the Ana as well. There's a Kitsune Rush now from the side of What's Up Doc, from the side of AR High Noon, I mean, so What's Up Doc going to have to play a little bit safe, and does still are the back of that anti-grenade will fall, and What's Up Doc gonna have to just back up there despite the fact that they did use a lot of their ultimates.
Yeah, Airhine in there, they had to invest heavy as well. You see the ult banks from both sides, they're pretty empty at this point. The only thing you got left is that Ricochet beat, nothing even close on the side of Airhine, but they just did a really good job of keeping Nidus alive on that corner of the point. Both supports just pounding all of this healing into a character that's just already so hard to kill, and well, just dies at the beginning of the fight. I don't even think recall was forced yet. And now if you're What's Up Doc, this is like really bad here. You kind of need to use the beat already. Cobalt does trade out, gets rid of Ducks. Nidus drops low, along with Mitzi and Steel CEO. And this is fantastic. You know, you lose year one, but it doesn't matter. You get these amazing trade-offs on the side. And overall, you're able to turn this fight, but it's not over yet. You still need to win one, even two more fights, potentially, to clean this up. Well, if you're Air High Noon, one good fight win, and we're going to round 3.
Yeah, I think the big thing that What's Up Doc need to be watching out for is the nano boost, especially onto the hazard, can be absolutely devastating. And also they need to watch out for Ducks, because he's coming up on that pulse bomb, and he's going to be building that up real soon after he just does a little bit more damage to Chamor. And recall will be forced eventually though, so now it's time for Air High Noon to most likely be using these ultimates first here. But Charlie Brown just going to get booped in, and Seal CEO so incredibly low. Chamor going to be able to get that pick off, because I'm pretty sure he hit the headshot with the bolt, which is definitely very clean. I think hitting headshots with the bolt is so satisfying, because you just do so, even though it's maybe just a little bit more damage. Yeah, it's just so satisfying.
Okay, you know what? Everyone ignore that frog in the back. No one saw that.
You know, Ricochet.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I thought he was definitely dead there.
Never doubt the Reddit Lucio. Never doubt the Reddit Lucio. But going into this fight though, Air High Noon, they do have a ton of ultimates going in here, as Ducks looking for that pulse bomb, not going to be able to find it, and even the bullet shot committed though. But Cobalt going to be able to stay alive, and looks like What's Up Doc are going to be the ones getting the picks off onto everyone in Air High Noon. The hazard roll going to be committed there from Naitis, but he's only going to be able to get Cobalt there, and Luau going to be able to get the Tracer Diff onto Dux. It is just Naiadus and What's Up Doc going to be able to hold on and will be going to play Blind Music Society as they win the series 3-2.
Fantastic set. Really back and forth from these rosters here. Before this game, I was talking to a bunch of different people, and it really surprisingly felt like What's Up Doc was the favorite to win this. I had a lot of people saying What's Up Doc is probably going to win this set. It's probably going to be a 3-1 or a 3-2. And just, I feel like you kind of see why in this. What's Up Doc, we saw at the very beginning the kind of where they got their wins, and it felt very back heavy in the season. Taking these wins up against like even a team like Bluff Creek, I think gave a lot of power to this roster, and it really enhances team in the minds of the people. And so they move up. This is the advancement. They can celebrate. This is really amazing, of course, but this is just step one of What's Up Doc. They need to now be a much harder team in Blind Music Society. But before we get onto that, as is customary, Toast, we do have to award an MVP.
Mm-hmm. If I would give it probably, I think Chamorn has been very consistent. He's been like very consistently popping off on the fray. Like the amount of bolts I've seen Chamorn just hit just to like win the fray 1v1 or even just apply a ton of pressure onto the hazard. I think that was, I think like maybe you don't like notice that like super pop-offy moments there from Chamorn, but also even when he was on the Sojourn, you saw that on New Junk City, that incredible Sojourn 2K that he got with that overclock to sort of turn the fight into the favor of What's Up Doc.
Oh yeah, I was absolutely going to give Chamorn it as well. I think Chamorn just kind of, I would say this was probably the best set I have seen this DPS play throughout the regular season, maybe conserving all of their energy for this play-ins time. And this is the time to pull it out. I mean, just fantastic gameplay all around from this team. We are unfortunately going to have to say goodbye from Air High Noon here. It is very unfortunate, but this is how these play-ins go. And I hate to be the bearer of depending on bad news who you asked you, but
I did see that Campfire Song did reverse sweep Woo Troop to win 3-2.
It is a 3-2 reverse sweep, and honestly, I don't know about your bracket.
Surprised.
I'm pleasantly surprised. I don't know if you made a bracket. I don't know if you did a play-ins playoff bracket. I will tell you mine, because it is now completely destroyed. I had Whoop Troop winning today. Didn't happen. I had Log Racers winning today. Didn't happen. And though it was a 50-50, I did have High Noon winning the map 5, and that also didn't happen. So, for any of you who are looking at your play-ins, by the way, as announced, I don't know if it's been fully announced yet, your playoff pred template will get reset once all the teams pick to playoffs, so don't worry if your play-ins are already destroyed. You do get a chance to reset for all of you playing along as well. But now, Blind Music Society, you are maybe prepping for a different opponent in Air High Noon. Now you need to get ready for What's Up Doc. I think that this is going to be a set that people are now going to be a little bit more surprised. They're like, oh, this What's Up Doc team, I kind of didn't expect this. And so, Blind Music Society, you don't have a ton of time. Matches are going to be concluded by Tuesday. So, you don't have as much time to figure out this roster and build up a game plan. But I mean, just hats off to What's Up Doc. Really good set.
Yeah, I think there was some very good plays all around. But I'm pretty sure they brought it back from like Air High Noon were up like 99. So I think the fact that What's Up Doc were able to sort of stay composed and use the ultimates that really mattered and just sort of take these fights really cleanly. I think that kind of shows the potential of What's Up Doc. And yeah, also if Blind Music Society were expecting to play Air High Noon, this is a little bit of a different opponent because What's Up Doc, they definitely do like to play a different style compared to Air High Noon, because Air High Noon, you do like to see them play that fast hazard comps comparatively to What's Up Doc, who like to opt for maybe like a more slow Ursa or even the Life Weaver. But we did see them play the Lucio there, but again, I would say Ursa probably a little bit more of a slower character than Hazard in general, so definitely a little bit of a different approach for that team.
Oh, definitely 100% there. I guess we can bring it on over to tomorrow's schedule because there's a lot of really, I
There are a
mean, most
ton
of the
of
maps.
games.
Most of the maps. We're starting off the day with obviously a set I care a lot about. It is going to be Polaris Camp Half Court. I think these are two teams that are both pretty strong potential to go into the playoffs. I mean, obviously, I could talk about these teams. It is, of course, biased. So we are going to just move on into the B League. That is Requiem, Jump Shot, Borealis, Bluff Creek, and Birdwatch Daybreak. All these matches, of course, important, being able to go in. I would say in these matches, Birdwatch Daybreak and Requiem Camp Jump Shot are going to be close games. Most people, I would probably assume, Borealis is probably going to beat out Bluff Creek. And then at the end of the day, we've got once more Camp Halfburger and Chungus Fungus Bud Clusters. And we've seen already games be upset, according to most people. And so, Camp Halfburger, teams are making it happen. These 7th seed teams, they're pushing up. There's hope. Is there any game that really sticks out to you? Is there anything you want to talk about? Because we do have some time.
Obviously, I'm gonna be watching Polaris versus Camp Halfcourt. I think that obviously will I think that will maybe decide like which A League team's gonna pick who. Because I think I'm not so sure about I'm not really sure about like Primal Pineapples or Corrupted Guys or Smoke Wolves, but my first pick would definitely not be Polaris or Camp Halfcourt for my first opponent in the playoffs. Because I think even though like Camp Halfcourt, like even though the record isn't like the best, the two they still did take a very quality win over Smoke Wolves, and also they had a very close loss to Corrupted Guys, where I'm pretty sure they only really lost because Noctara got a 5-man nade in the backline. So I think Camp Halfcourt, like they are still a very strong team. Obviously Polaris, they're the only team that I lost to, so I mean, like, I don't know. I'll just like assume that you guys are like better than us or something because you beat us.
I am excited for the playoffs. I think that no matter what happens, already this has been such a fantastic experience for all players, new and old, in this BPL 7. I would love to play Frogs on Fire again, by the way, Toast. I am very excited to hopefully see you in the playoffs. I 100% want to meet you, at least on winner's side, to be able to play into each other. Most likely not in round 1, as we will probably be picked up by another opponent. But at the end of the day, I am wishing everyone the best of luck here. For those that want to go see it, of course, over on the A stream, you can go watch Wood Troop Campfire Song. I don't know about you, Toast, but I'm going to go watch that once this stream ends. And maybe I'll have to also watch the fact that Log Racers got 3-0 swept by the Bear. I mean, apparently the 7 seed teams, they've got some sort of secret sauce cooking. Maybe they've got like a 7 seed coalition going on to try and like win this out.
Yeah, maybe like they're like, you know what? People are gonna underestimate us, but now we're good. We're just gonna lock in. We're just gonna win every single game. We're gonna make it to playoffs. We're gonna win everything. So
it's the 1 in a million timeline. You know what they say.
Exactly.
And so I believe. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Whether you joined us on this stream and you caught it near the end after the stream on A or on C, or you were here and you weren't by the end because you went to go watch that exciting map 5, I imagine, between Whoop Troop and Campfire Song. Thank you so much for joining me and my fantastic co-host and also fantastic tank player and I, Toasty Toast. And to the both of us, Toast, unless you would like to have one final thing, I believe this is where we will be saying farewell.
I don't really have anything else to say, so yeah, thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah, and that's goodbye. Yeah, that's kind of it. Goodbye. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Farewell.
We got nowhere to be, just a slow dance with the summer heat. The world outside can't wait a few, 'cause right now we got nothing else to do. The sun is peeking through the cotton white blinds, your hands still tangled up in mine. feet on the wall, your head on me, floating easy. We got nowhere to be. Got nowhere to be. Your hair's a mess, but you don't mind. You just laugh, let it fall where it